Welcome to Improv for the podcast. On this week's episode, I'm joined by Anne with the funny last name, who will tell us all about her improvisational journey. We'll play a couple games, and most importantly, learn how she improved her life. Let's hit it. Welcome to Improv for the podcast. I'm your host, Michael E. Evans, and tonight I am joined by the incredibly talented master of Missouri, skilled artisanal chef, expert of musicals from the 1980s, Anne with the funny last name. Thank you so much for coming on the show tonight, Anne.
Wow. That's a lot of accolades.
But a few of your many accolades, I think. But a few. How are you doing this evening, Anne?
I'm doing well. I'm happy to be here. This is fun.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. It's what can I say? I feel like you're a guest that I should have had like 50 episodes ago. But it's just, the timing. Okay. The timing just.
Our time is now.
Our time is now.
We needed what we needed up till now, and here we are. So, Anne, I got a question for you.
Yes. I'm looking at this old sign here that one day will be fully lit. One day.
Oh yeah.
How do you know this old place? How did you get started here? Just give me like 2 to 3 sentences.
Okay. I bombed an audition for a game show.
Whoa.
So 25 words or less, season 1, episode. Spoiler alert, I ended up making it on the game show. So I'm on episode 89. However, there were several auditions along the way, and one of them to finally be on the show, I blew it. And a friend and I had talked about doing improv. Yeah. And I went home that night and I was like, we have to go this week because I couldn't think on my feet.
Yeah.
And so shout out to Stephanie, who, we came together the next night and started in Benjamin's class on Wednesdays. And that was August of 2019. And in the before times.
In the before, yes. Whispers, rumors, tall tales of such a place.
And so that Saturday, I was brought back to the game show and filmed an episode, and you can find it on YouTube.
Wow, and you were like, 8. I got this now.
Yeah. Well, and my celebrity partners were Jane Lynch and Ross Matthews.
Oh, wow.
So I had like these icons on my couch. And
Jane Lynch, great improviser.
Oh. God. So good. Yeah. And just kind and delightful and funny and smart. And it was a blast. That
sounds like a good crew to be with.
Yes, it was. Yes. And hosted by Meredith Vieira. The other couch was my opponents were Cristela Alonso, also a brilliant comedian I follow religiously now, and Josh Wolf. Who's going to be in Netflix as a Joke Festival in a couple months.
Oh, yeah. April, May, yeah.
Yeah. So, it was a fun time.
Wow. Wait, did you win?
You'll have to watch and find out.
I got to find episode 89.
Episode 80.
25 words or less, episode 9.
89.
I was in a...
Season 1, though, because now it was a show that kept going through the pandemic because they filmed it with people in their own separate pods and they could keep it kind of...
Oh, yeah, they could make it work.
Yeah, so...
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, 89 episows in at least one season is pretty crazy.
There were like 160 the first season. It was crazy.
Oh, my gosh. That's an unapproachable
Yeah, it was a lot of time in that studio for Meredith Vieira.
That's a lot, but hey, that's got to be fun though. Yeah. I mean, maybe they get tired after a while, but for the guests,
good times. One time, one and done.
Yeah. They might bring you back.
Maybe so.
Yeah, 25 words or less, all-star
or like Tournament of Champions.
Yeah, there you go, like Jeopardy, Wheel of Fortune. Yeah,
yes, exactly.
Awesome. All right. Well, before we get more into talking about this whole place, Anne, we got to play some 3 things. Because I've been doing my research.
I'm a little scared.
As always, had a little fun with that. But don't worry, we're not going to press too much.
Okay.
We got some good stuff here. So you know how to play 3 things. I'll give you 3 categories. You tell me 3 things from each one. All right, here we go. Your first category. These are 3 things. Just Midwest things.
Oh, the Gateway Arch.
1.
Gooey butter cake.
2.
Ted Drew's frozen custard.
3, very nice.
Those are all St. Louis things, actually, but it's okay. St. Louis is in the Midwest.
That counts, yeah. I mean, it's all there. Second category, guitar chords.
Oh, D minor,
1,
E major,
2,
and D7.
3. Ooh, very nice.
Yes.
Last category, musicals you attended between 1985 and 1995. I might have that date range wrong.
You're doing great.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, The Music Man, multiple times.
1,
Cats.
2,
And Seven Brides for Seven Brothers.
3. These are 3 things. All right. Good stuff. All right, I got to circle back to that first category.
Yes.
I said just Midwest things. Why did I give you that category, Ann?
Because I am Midwest born and bred and proud of it.
There you go.
And it's very much part of my being out here in LA. Every stranger is a friend I haven't met yet. You bring someone, though, instead of bringing a casserole, like if someone dies or has a baby, I do risotto. I've modified that. You bring the food, you give people rides to the airport.
Yeah.
These are just things that are
That's what you do.
fundamental values of my life. But yeah, so I grew up in St. Louis, lived in the same house my whole life till I went off to college, and I did college in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Go blue.
Thank you. I know we've had a good year.
Yeah.
Though maybe cheated.
Well, no, Coach Harbaugh didn't know about that.
Well, I say, like, if we are truly the leaders and best, which is how we are described in our own fight song, we should own up to if we did it. I'm very alone in that. Sorry to if there's any Wolverines listening to the
I think
podcast,
that's true.
but yeah, it's been. I was at the Rose Bowl working.
Wow.
I was getting paid to be at the Rose Bowl this year, which was great.
Yeah.
So, so lived in Ann Arbor for a few years after I graduated, stuck around, and then moved out here from there. So when I moved to LA, I said I was Ann from Ann Arbor, so that people could remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Midwest has its glories and its problems, but I'm glad to have been raised there.
Yeah. All right. I got a couple Midwest questions for you.
'Kay.
Totally tangential. Well,
Okay.
I'm going to circle back to Michigan real quick.
'Kay.
All I'm going to say is I'm a Chargers fan. I want them to hire Coach Harbaugh.
Oh.
He's here in LA interviewing literally right now.
No,
His second round.
you can't take him.
Look, I've had a life of misery being a fan of that team. I need something.
I did work the Chargers Cowboys Monday Night Football game as well.
I'm sorry
Yeah.
you had to watch him play.
Yeah, well, that one. I was in the booth.
Oh, good.
With Troy Aikman and Joe Buck.
Oh.
Like 10 feet from, in case they needed anything. They didn't need anything, so
Yeah.
I just got to like watch the game from the booth and like play on my phone. I did give Troy his dinner, and then there's this guy, John, who is like a retired referee who like signals all the calls. He was delightfully kind and a Midwesterner as well.
Hey, there you go.
So I was
Connections.
like, yes. So.
How did Joe Buck's hair plugs look close up?
Oh, I don't. Well, he's our hometown hero. You can't. Don't mess with my dude.
I like Joe Buck. I just, I remember, I think a few years ago, people were like, whoa, Joe Buck's hair is looking different.
Oh, I did.
I mean, he's in sports media. It's like,
You gotta have good hair.
yeah,
It's a tough
aging
job.
man. That's oftentimes a problem you gotta face.
I don't. Yeah, it gets passed through your mother though. So
Yeah, that's true.
So you can blame them.
Oh, I do.
Yeah, great, perfect.
Okay, so that's my Michigan question. Gooey butter cake, 10 out of 10.
Oh, you had it.
Yes. I
Oh,
did.
yeah.
I
At
sampled
my
it.
house.
It was. I'd never had it before. I was like, this is a revelation.
I'm so glad.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
more
it's a
folks need
St.
to get
Louis-
out there.
Yeah. No, it's
Try
well,
it.
and there's a chocolate version as well that my aunt makes. I have not.
Don't tell me that.
I know. Did you guys get the? I'll give you the recipe. It's so easy. Unless you don't want to. Unless you only want to have it once a year.
I mean, yes, but no.
Well, and you can get it. I think it's California Pizza Kitchen.
Really?
Now
CPK?
has a dessert called butter cake, which is just St. Louis gooey butter cake.
At California Pizza.
I know, but at least for a while they had it. I don't know if they still do.
Yeah.
But a couple years ago, and I was just like,
Good to know.
"You stole this from a St. Louis."
I'm a CPK fan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good to know. Good to know.
Yes.
Shoot, what was my other question? All right. 2 Midwest questions. My mom is from the Midwest. She's from Wisconsin, so I got some Midwest in me. Been back there a couple times. Piggly Wiggly.
We didn't have those in Missouri or Michigan,
Shame.
but I do.
Shame.
I watched movies and learned about them.
There you go. I'll take it. And then drinking fountains. What is there a Midwest vernacular term for drinking fountains?
We just call them drinking fountains or water fountains.
Okay.
Well, though other places, so There was several years back, and I'm actually fairly obsessed with it. It's gone now, and I'm rather sad. There was a vernacular like dialect quiz you could take on the New York Times, and it would literally pinpoint where you were from on a map based on the words that you used.
That sounds great.
It was amazing. And I would have so many people take it. I'm like, no, trust me, like try it. Because in St. Louis we say soda and not pop, but everywhere around St. Louis
surrounded by pop.
So everyone else says pop.
Yeah.
And so, but then along with, there were things like, what do you call the stretch of grass between the sidewalk and the street? Do you have a term for that? What do you call it when it's raining and the sun is shining at the same time? There were terms like the devil is beating his wife. And it was super fascinating. Like, right. And do you call, like a drinking fountain can be called a bubbler?
Yeah,
or,
that's what my mom used to call it.
Okay.
Like Wisconsin.
So maybe it's a Wisconsin thing.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, you could take this quiz and all these questions about, like, what do you call the shoes that you're wearing? I would call them tennis shoes.
Yep, that's what we said growing up.
Which I'm like, why are they tennis shoes? Yeah. Like, are we playing tennis in those?
I've never played tennis. I don't know.
But sneakers or, you know, and then Coke, what do you call it? Do you call it soda, pop, Coke? Yeah, but I've tried to find it more recently, and it's gone now. It's very sad.
That's a shame. That sounds like a fun quiz.
I know. Maybe someone can find it in the depths of Google and let us know.
Bring it back.
Yeah, please.
Bring it back. New York Times, what are you doing?
Yeah, 100%. Why?
That's a shame. Real shame. All right.
So drinking fountains are drinking fountain or water fountain. Drinking fountain or water fountain.
Soda, drinking fountains.
Soda, drinking. Yep.
And last thing I'll add on that, I've always wanted to see the Arch. I haven't been there. Would like to see it. That's what I'm gonna say. I saw. Gosh, sorry, I'm taking you on a million tangents.
I love it.
I watched. Do you know Percy Jackson?
I know of it. I've never read the book or seen a movie. But
there's a pivotal scene in the first book that takes place at the Arch.
Oh, then I need to read it.
And it's actually Disney's doing a TV show of it right now. It's okay.
But did they go to the Arch?
They did. So that like episode recently aired, and I was like, oh, there it is.
Did they film it like in St. Okay, so
I believe so.
Okay, I'll have to check it out.
If that was not real, I would be shocked.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it is.
It's pretty cool.
660 some odd feet tall. No one died building it, which is kind of a big deal. There's a document.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
It is. It's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
It is not for you mathy nerds out there. Like if you're like me, it's not a perfect parabola because it does go straight up at the feet.
Right.
So it's not a function.
Yeah.
I was a math teacher before, so
no biggie.
But I did get a job by teaching about the arch as a parabola, but not a parabola. So it worked out for me. But and you can go up in it. So there are these little pod like egg cars that barely fit 5 adults, but they try it. And you start underground, and then you ride up to the top. And like the top is like curved.
Yeah.
And there's like a little observation deck up there. It's really fun to be up there during a Cardinals baseball game because you can see into the stadium. It's fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I actually really love the documentary about the building of the Arch. It's a really interesting, because Eero Saarinen was the guy who designed it. And so it talks about his involvement. And anyway, yeah. I'm so nerdy.
Cool. That sounds awesome. Just the pods and like just the fact that you can go up in it too. It's like it's not just something to look at, but you can experience it.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah. And the underneath is the Museum of Westward Expansion, which I haven't been back to since I've been doing some of my like anti-racism
whole Manifest Destiny. You're like,
that's probably a little problematic now.
Yeah.
I'd be curious to see what the indigenous folks have to say.
Yeah,
but,
if that's changed at all.
Yeah, not so sure. Yeah. But St. Louis can be a little slower on that kind of thing. But yeah, so there's a museum underneath, and there was always every 4th of July there was a big fair downtown all weekend under the arch, and there would be air shows where like the Harrier. Is it the Harrier? My dad would be mad. He designs these things. The Harrier, whatever the one hovers, the B2, whatever airplane hovers. Dad, tell me, I don't know. Would like hover like under the arch, and they do
my
fireworks
gosh.
under the arch.
Under
and,
the
like not actually between the legs, but like you'd get a good vista. It was over the river.
You could get like the angle right.
Exactly.
I was picturing it was like, guys, we're gonna fly through the hoop now.
I think it's illegal to like fly underneath. I think there's actually a law about that. But then people do it and have gotten arrested anyway.
I was gonna say there's probably folks that are like, all right, let's do it. Yeah, a helicopter tour or something.
Oh, that could be fun.
Yeah, I could see why they'd say don't do that. People, not smart. This is one person. It just takes one person to be like, hey guys, look at me. Yeah.
Just the one.
No questions. Oh. No. All right. So that second category. What did we talk about? We talked about guitar chords. Why did I ask you about guitar chords, Ann?
Because I play the guitar.
And you said D minor, E major,
which I actually can't play. So maybe that's why I said that. I was like, it's a hard. I'm not good at that one.
The D minor, E major, and then D7.
D7. I do love a good. I love D7. I love A7. I love those like those blue notes. The flat sevens. I really do like those. Though, which I probably learned more about from piano. So I started on piano when I was 5. I did like violin through school a little bit, but then started French horn in 5th grade and played that through actually sophomore year of college.
Oh, wow.
And then, peak of my career. I was not a music major in college, but I made it into the last chair in the lowest ensemble of music majors at the University of Michigan. So I was the worst French horn at the University of Michigan as a non-music major. So and we had really good horn parts that semester, so it was pretty fun. And my essay to get into Michigan, I said I wanted to be the first female drum major of the Michigan marching band, but then I never did marching band, so it was too cold.
I mean, that's tough out there.
But my guitar I started in college. I can always remember. I learned my first chords the same day as the Columbine shooting, which is a horrible thing to remember. But
probably why you remember it.
It was the last day of classes for us, so it happened to also be the same day as that. And I'm not very good. I can basically just play chords. And I don't like pick very much even, but it's been as someone who learned a lot of music by notes. Guitar is something I can learn more by ear. And so therefore it's been something that's connected me a little bit more to my heart. Whereas like instruments I played through notes were more about my brain. So it's been, and that's how I also learned that I could kind of write songs. And so I started writing more on the guitar, and now I've started writing more on piano. So, but yeah.
If it helps at all, I remember that I had a best friend whose birthday was on 9/11.
I know. I do have a dear friend. It's kind of one of those
memories, where you're like, and then you felt bad after that.
Well, actually, I was born the day of the stock market crash. Well, like many years later, but like the 1929. October 29th is the date. I've just made it. Well, been very protective of my birthday for many years for a variety of reasons. But anyway, well, now you know. But yes, 1929 stock market crash. Anyway, days that live in infamy.
Yeah, that's one. Rough.
Alas, shall we change the subject?
Yeah. So that third category. Three tough days to me. I mean, stock market not nearly as bad as those other two.
Yeah.
I mean, still bad. Well,
it's sort of like the Great Depression.
People. Yeah, actually, though, I was like, entered a historically bad time in history for everyone. Yeah.
I know. Most humans.
So actually,
Yeah.
Gosh.
Well, I know.
So
but
musicals.
We're here now. We made it. Yes.
Musicals, that third category. Why ask you about musicals?
So in St. Louis, there's such a theme. There's an outdoor theater called the Muni Opera that has about 12,000 seats. And every week in the summer, they would put on a different musical for about 8 weeks. And the great thing about St. Louis, one of the other great things, maybe I should lead a tour there after this is all over. Let's go.
You're selling it for me. I'm like,
there are free seats at the back of it.
Wow.
So you can go, you camp
great.
out, you like bring a picnic, and it's a suit. Yeah.
Can Can I go off on this?
Yes.
This right here, that's how theater needs to be. Like accessible. That's the problem with Broadway, is that it's expensive. It's only in one place, and like people aren't exposed to theater and like the power of it because it's so exclusive.
Yeah.
All right.
No,
Sorry,
and
just had to
that's
say that. It's
no,
one of my beefs
100%.
with the art form.
And so in St. Louis, the art museum is free. The zoo is free. The history museum is free.
Wow.
The arts are free in St. Louis.
That's incredible.
And again, that was a value that I grew up with.
Yeah.
And my mom had grown up in the city of St. Louis. I grew up in the suburbs, as did all my friends. And so I knew a lot more about the city than a lot of my friends because of my mom. And and so she taught me to love a lot of things about the city. And so, there's a lot, you can have a lot of arts exposure in St. Louis for free, which is nice, as long as people don't look at you suspiciously because you're not white. There is that. But so it's problematic and it can be lovely. So, so the Muni Opera, short for the Municipal Opera, would do musicals in the summer. When I was like 6 and 7, we went to like 2 shows. And then from when I was 8 to when I was 18, which we now also told everyone how old I am. So now we had season tickets. So Monday nights, which was opening night, we'd go, and my mom would, because she didn't want to waste her money, would buy the tapes, the cassette tapes to put in the car, because also that's the era that it was, of the musical, so that we can learn all the words. And so we wouldn't fall asleep, and she wouldn't waste her money. And when I was very young, I mean, because the same people, St. Louis can be a very traditional place, and so the same people would buy the same seats year after year after year, and they put on the same musicals a lot of times, like The Music Man. So these it was super kind ladies sat in front of us, and when I was very young, I would actually just like stand behind them because I was short enough, and they would kind of part themselves so that I could see well.
So
and
nice.
And so then when I was in that 4th of July festival had their own marching band. And then at the end of Music Man, my senior year, when I was the drum major of that extra marching band, we came out as like the miracle band at the end of Music Man, when it's like, he did it. There were 76 trombones. And we came out, we played 76 trombones. So then we were on the stage. And it's actually the largest backstage in the entire world. Wow. There are trees, real trees on the stage that are insured for millions of dollars, because if they fall over, it takes out everything.
Makes sense.
And with the schedule that they have, like having shows all summer, there are like midnight rehearsals. So like, if there's a show going on, then the next show for the next week rehearses after.
Crazy.
So anyway, it was a really special. So like if there was a show I really liked when I went on Monday with my family, I'd go like later in the week with my friends and bring the picnic and all the things. So and it was something, my mom grew up in St. Louis, but she didn't really grow up doing that. And I think it was something she wanted to give to us that she didn't have. And so I can, so it's a tradition now when I enter the state of Oklahoma on a road trip, I sing the musical Oklahoma from start to finish.
Oh, I love that.
Because I can. Yeah. Sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so there's a lot of, there are a lot of musicals in this brain, or at least parts of them, because we got the tapes and I learned the songs. So
I think too, did you sometimes listen to the tapes before you went to the musical?
Always. Yeah.
Which I think that's good, because if it's your first time seeing it, hearing the music, you don't always know what they're saying. Sometimes it moves too fast. Sound quality, diction, like all these things. So like if you do a little studying, really improves the experience.
100%. And there were times, because it was Monday night, they were still, and it was opening night, they were still working out a lot of the kinks. Yeah. And so I remember one time, there's this guy, Tommy Toon, who's like,
oh my gosh. Yeah. Tommy Toon.
I love that you know that.
Yeah.
Okay. So for those of you who don't know.
Shame. Yeah.
He's probably old now. I wonder if he's still, so he's probably still around, but
yeah, I bet he is.
So he's like 6'6", and a tap dancer and a singer. And he was in, I believe it was in My One and Only, where he had all of these different monochrome suits in different colors that he wore throughout the show. But there was one costume change that must have just been too fast for him. And he came out like half dressed and his fly was open.
Tommy.
And I was like 10, so it was hilarious because, like your fly's open, I'm 10 years old, so yeah. But he was just like tap dancing like he had his clothes on. So the show must go on.
Oh, man. What a pro. What a pro, that Mr.
Yeah,
Toon.
and another regular, Tommy Toon was there a lot. Another guy was Joel Higgins, who was on Silver Spoons. He was the dad on Silver Spoons with Ricky Schroeder. And he's a St. Louis native. He went to the high school next to mine.
Wow.
So, this was pre, we didn't know John Hamm yet, and we didn't know Ellie Kemper yet, they weren't, the hometown stars yet that they are now. So,
oh man, John Hamm.
I know he's my homie.
John Hamm, yeah.
Sterling K. Brown is another one. I know these people that I'm like, if I meet them, we have so much to talk about.
I do like Sterling K. Brown.
He went to so the question in St. Louis is this is interestingly St. Louis focused. It's so funny. The question, if you grew up in St. Louis, is where'd you go to school? And that's not college; it's high school, because then we can judge you based on where you grew up, how much, if you went to private school or public school, if you're Catholic or not, whatever.
Yeah,
so
all these things.
But yeah, Sterling K. Brown went to Country Day. Ellie Kemper and John Hamm went to John Burroughs, all private schools. Yeah, nice private schools. So anyway.
Oh, Mr. Hamm. Yeah. Oh yeah, Ellie Kemper. Yeah, I remember I think she has some weird family things from her past. Yeah, I remember
she was like a debutante and things.
Just a little.
Yeah, she was actually. Anyway. Yeah.
That's
fine.
Clicked because she was on Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, and then it was like, oh yeah, that character's backstory, and then it was like, who also has a weird backstory? The actor that plays her, Ellie Kemper. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, we can go. So yes, that 4th of July celebration it's now called Fair St. Louis. It was called the VP Fair. VP stands for Veiled Prophet. And the Veiled Prophet was a humanitarian. What do you call it when the person gives a bunch of money?
Charity organization.
Yeah, like the person though. The person is the person who gives a bunch of money. Anyway,
sponsor,
a benefactor, or it's something like that. Anyway, so they honor one person every year who has been a generous philanthropist, There it is. And so, but they don't reveal their identity. They are literally behind a veil. But there is, and again, so that's what I knew of it as a kid.
Yeah.
As an adult who's learning things, it does have these associations with, I don't know if it's like Masonic stuff or weird white supremacist stuff or whatever. So, but yeah, what I knew of as a kid was like, hey, they're honoring this person who gave away a lot of money. Isn't that cool? But along with
nice.
Yeah, right? That sounds like a nice. Along with it, there's also a debutante coming out ball, and there's a veiled prophet queen, and maidens or court or whatever. So kind of like the rose queen, rose bowl type. So yeah. Anyway,
Veiled Prophet would be a great heavy metal band name.
That is. Yes.
I think there's Black Veiled Brides. That's a band. So in that vein.
Yes.
Yeah. This would be oh yeah, I just got the new CD from Veiled Prophet.
Veiled Prophet.
Veiled Prophet.
Veiled Prophet. Totally.
See, I'm there. If they're a heavy metal band, I'm I don't.
We could start one. I don't know that I can play heavy metal guitar, but
what you can learn.
We could start the first heavy metal band with a French horn.
Innovation in the field. I like it. Yeah, I heard you played in Michigan, so
that's true. That was the worst French horn in Michigan, but I could rock it.
But you played at Michigan.
Veiled Prophet.
Veiled Prophet. I can't even imitate a French horn.
That was kind of like a trumpet, but with a mute in. That was pretty good though. It was brassish.
You can do the little thing over the. I'm not.
Oh, the wah wah. Yeah, with an actual. We would actually buy plungers. So yeah. So our jazz band didn't have enough trombones, and so this is so nerdy and St. Louis focused. Oh my goodness. So there are instruments that French horn players use in marching band called a mellophone, which faces forward because a French horn bell faces backward.
Oh, yeah.
And when you're on a football field, you want the sound to go that way, not like, because there's not like a wall for it to bounce off of in an orchestra hall. So the mellophone faces forward. We didn't have enough trombones in our jazz band, so we would play trombone parts on mellophones, and we would use actual plungers to make that wah wah
kind of imitate that
sound. Yeah, you take the stick out, and it's unused. It's a clean, fresh plunger, just for the record.
I would hope so.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it'd be a good prank. It'd be a good prank to play on someone else. Be like, oh, hey, I got you a new plunger, but it's not. Like,
It's not, got you.
Yeah.
Now you have a sickness.
Yeah.
And you've spread it to the rest of the band. Oh, wait.
Maybe so.
Yeah. I could see that going south very quickly.
That's true. Good point.
Yikes.
Not so much.
Yikes. All right. Oh, man. I'm in on St. Louis now. I got to go check it out.
Take a tour.
I got to go see the Arch.
Yeah. We could do, like, we need to get Matt connected with some company that could teach improv in St. Louis.
IFTP on the road.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'll go and give a tour. Be fun times.
IFTP Midwest Edition.
Yeah.
All right, Ann. So we're here tonight because of improv. Because of improv. So I want you to think back in your life. When was the first time you heard about, saw someone pass a note to you in class, improv, this idea? When were you first introduced?
Well, I come from the era where we would fold them elaborately. That's what that brought up. And I actually saved a box of folded notes from my friends. I think I got rid of it in the most recent move, but I hung on to them for a very long time.
Pretty cool.
Because it was just, a glimpse into 14, 15-year-olds.
Yeah.
So again, my mom wanting to expose me to arts, probably also wanting to keep me busy during the summers.
Yeah.
I remember a camp I went to, and in every elementary school play in school, I was always the narrator because I could memorize a lot of lines, but I wasn't quite good enough to be the lead. So narrator. And so I was in a lot of plays because I could memorize a lot of lines. And so then one summer there was a camp, and I did a theater camp, and we did this play. I definitely wasn't the lead. I don't remember if I was the narrator, but I do remember that I must have known everyone's lines because I was ridiculously snobby or something. I don't know. But I remember this girl who was the lead kind of went off book and kind of did something that she'd never done in practice before, but it was amazing. And I was so jealous of it because I was like, that was brilliant.
Yeah.
So that was probably the first time I remember, because again, I think a lot of my education, my arts education, my life was more about the notes on the page, metaphorically. Yeah. And so, so this was a moment that was not on the page, and it really registered deeply and in a way. And I was like, oh, you can do that? You can do something different that's not on the page? What? Coloring outside the lines? What?
No.
So, that is another Midwest characteristic sometimes. Yeah. So that was probably the summer after 4th or 5th grade.
Wow. Okay. That's a really amazing, distinct memory.
Really nice. I could tell you what she was wearing. I can't tell you her name. I could tell you what she looked like. Yeah. I knew, we were at Parkway Central Middle School in a classroom that had
Yeah.
Anyway, yep.
So that moment of you saw something, you didn't really know what it was, but you knew she wasn't doing what was written. Like you said, coloring outside the lines, and that stuck with you because you're like, wow. Well, one, she did that really well. One, probably two, like you said, you knew everyone's lines, so it was very distinct for you. Maybe another kid who was there might not have noticed as much, but you're just like, whoa.
And it added so much to the moment. I think it was a lot of it too. Yeah.
And I think
it was better.
Whoa.
I know. It's improved.
I think a lot of times in youth theater scenarios, I spent a lot of time in those as well. Thinking about it's very much about the notes on the page, like you said, in both in music and acting and all those things. It's what's on the page. It's what you do. You memorize it. You do it. The director tells you what you do, what choices to make, because, well, you're not a good actor yet, probably. So that's why that's there. But kids need that structure a little bit. But there can be moments of brilliance too. All right, so you have that initial moment. Clearly left an impression. And I mean, it sounds like growing up too, you were involved in a lot of different creative things. You were doing music, you were doing theater, like you were going to see shows. So there was always...
I did dance too.
Dance.
I started in ballet when I was like
Triple threat.
3. But then I had to do math and stuff.
Yeah. Well,
which I was also good at.
Quadruple threat. There you go. Get the mathematics in there.
Calculus.
Boom. There you go. Calculate the angle of this leap.
Yes.
In ballet.
Ooh, actually. Yeah.
I mean,
I did love Physics Day at Six Flags at the amusement park. That was fun.
Yeah.
That was a good time.
I think that's anywhere that has a Six Flags, they always do Physics Day.
Do they really? Did you do it too?
I wasn't in physics, but I had a friend who was.
Okay.
And they went to Six Flags. Yeah.
And then you wished you were in physics.
Yeah. I was like, oh, well, that's cool. Yeah.
Except you had to do like, an hour and a half of like, we made like a gravity measure that you had to like watch while you were like on the roller coaster. And it was insane. I actually, again, because I'm a nerd, I was like, it's 5Gs. It was like, I'm like, and then you're upside down. You're like, it's 0G. Anyway, it's really interesting.
Yeah. I mean, that's the point. That's why you do it. It's like that real life practical application.
Yes. Anyway.
Yeah, so if you're in physics, go to Six Flags.
Go to Six Flags.
Even if you're not near one, find one.
With your gravity meter.
Yeah.
Whatever they're called.
Yeah, I don't know. Your gravometer.
Yes.
Yeah. So you had that initial exposure to improv. Okay. When did that pop up again? You're like, you saw this moment. You're like, brilliant child. And life continues. You're doing shows. You're learning songs. You're seeing Tommy Tune with his fly down. Tommy Tune hopefully cleans that up in the next show.
He did. I'm sure he did.
Good.
And then so again, I was a band kid. So, so in junior high, I started the band route, and I could have still done both that and a more like choir type route, but I took Latin instead because I'm so cool. And because I had a crush on a boy actually,
That's kind of school.
And then he moved away, but then I stuck with Latin. And my mom was like, it's so she could learn word roots. I'm like, sure it was, Mom.
Yeah, Mom. Yeah, definitely.
So, so then I kind of went the band route. So then I'm like in the pit orchestra for musicals in high school, which was also really fun. There's nothing like that as a grown up unless you're a professional. Just the hours and hours and hours of rehearsals and just, So that would probably have been the next moment, I would say. A memory's coming right now. So I did, in junior high, we studied like ancient history in 7th grade, and there was what we called the Classics Festival. And each kind of homeroom had to put on a play, and we were sort of competing. And I'd seen the movie Clue, where like you don't know the ending necessarily. And so I wrote the play, and had the ending where like the audience got to choose who did it. Which I'm like, I'd forgotten about that for years. Yeah. And there was another Megan Corns. I'm still in touch with her. She lived in Santa Monica for years. And she did another where I'm like, that's not what's on the page. And at that time I got so mad.
Yeah. Like, I wrote it.
Exactly. I'm like, this is not what it said. But again, the audience loved it.
Yep.
She was also popular, so that probably helped because it was junior high. But but no, and it was great. And once I got past my 7th grade screenwriter ego, I saw that it added to it. So that was probably it. And then that's actually more poignant. I can't think of anything specific from, and then college. There were improv troupes that I loved to go see. And, but it never seemed like something I could do. Because I was a band kid.
You're like, oh yeah, those folks. I'll leave that to
those actor folks.
Yeah, those actor. Well, University
folks.
of Michigan. Yeah,
Yeah, leaders and best. I mean, they are the leaders and best of
Their
improv.
musical theater BFA over there.
There were, I knew, I knew, again, because I was in the music school some, and yeah, it was always so interesting. It was interesting because I wasn't in it, but I was visiting enough. It was such an interesting culture. I felt like it felt a little bit like high school, and that everybody knew everybody dated everybody, and you had a locker. But and then right, the singers, the vocalists, like have to sit in a room with themselves all the time. Like at least with an instrument, it's a little bit, I don't know, there's a separation. It just seemed like such an interesting process to have to spend that much time with yourself. And I wasn't at a place where that seemed like fun at all. Yeah, no. Didn't like myself that much back then. But yeah, so yeah, then seeing it in college, I would say.
So it sounds like, I mean, growing up in your performing career, like you had these little moments. I would call it that. You did a lot of stuff, music and theater and all these different things.
I know. I just haven't thought of it. Yeah.
You had like these little moments of like improv sprinkled in, and that were impactful. And in college, like you said, it was like, oh, I can't really do that, but it's really fun to watch them do this. So you never saw yourself as like that wasn't your avenue, but I feel like you were already a performer. You know, you had lots of experience doing everything pretty much, but it's just improv. It was something else. It was out there.
I just thought of another one. Can I mention another one?
Yes, please.
So, the peak of my dance career was when I was 10. I was in the Nutcracker.
Oh, classic.
I know, which we just experienced some of our comrades in it.
Moore, star of the Nutcracker.
He did. Did you see him?
I saw the video clip.
Okay.
I wasn't able to go, unfortunately.
But he was so, and I've told him this to his face, but now everyone will know. He was so, we were in the last row and he projected and he was so regal and Jamie and Liam too, like hilarious. They were this like these comic relief characters.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
And I don't know, the Nutcracker, it's old, like there's not a lot you can do with it necessarily, but but this production did, and that was fun. And the new and interesting fun element was, people I knew.
Yeah, sure.
So it was fun. And so, so I actually, this is also a fun, sort of a theme of my life sometimes, is that lovely things just come to me and I'm so grateful. And this was a case where my parents were on vacation and my grandparents were watching my brother and me. And so I didn't audition, but I went to the ballet school that was putting on the production. And so then they called me and invited me to be in the production. I was a gumdrop in the battle scene. So like when the mice come in, they battle the candy.
Mouse King versus the Nutcracker.
Exactly. Yeah. And so there were like gingerbread who were very tall and gumdrops who, I wasn't this round then, but they're rounder. And then there were bunny rabbits and soldiers and different things. So I was in that scene. And so they just offered it to me. And I had, as a child, another thing my mom did with me was like we went to the Nutcracker every year, and it was at Powell Symphony Hall, which is where the St. Louis Symphony played, with the symphony accompanying the ballet, red velvet seats, gold leaf on the ceilings, like so fancy and fun, getting dressed up, and so then I got to be in it eventually, and we did lots of performances all over, ending in Powell Symphony Hall with the orchestra. And like when the Nutcracker comes out, there are these beautiful cascading chords that the low brass plays, and the floor is like shaking because and I'm like, I held like a lollipop in this hand, and I was like, and this hand had to be outstretched like the whole time. This was like my pose. And I was just like, this is so cool. The floor is shaking. But anyway, so there's a dance in the second act called the Ponchinelles. And early on in the season, one of the Ponchinelles had an injury and had hurt her ankle. And so then every time that dance happened, we would hold our breath, like, cause I don't know, second or third performance, she fell. And so then it was like, oh no, is she going to fall? Is she going to fall? But again, there was this moment where, and there's a thing in ballet when there are male and female dancers, is that like for the men to like be there for their woman. That's like a thing to be there for them. And so there were 3 or 4 Punchinello girls, and then this one kind of, and it's sort of this jester clown guy. And anyway, she falls in a performance, and he then starts crawling around. Like, he improvised, and he didn't do the steps that were written, and he crawls around on the floor after her to take care of her, and it makes it into this funny, comical thing, covering up the fact that we all know in the wings that she's fallen. But it doesn't necessarily look like it. So that was that one just came to mind. I was like, oh, and relates back to IFTP and improv and our friends that were just nutcrackerized.
Part of the Nutcracker machine. Every year.
It's there.
They churn out another production.
Yeah. The Tchaikovsky Veiled Prophet. I don't know.
The Tchaikovsky agenda. We got to watch out.
That's right. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. Sugar Plums, they're coming back next.
Oh.
Yeah. I really love that moment, though, because I think in ballet dance too, like ballet I think to like the outside observer, like it always seems like something so rigid. There's not a lot of room for improvisation, especially in a classic like the Nutcracker, where it's like, it's a Nutcracker. I see this every year. I want to see the same thing every year and know what to expect. So like a moment like that sounds so lovely. And like, I mean, what a smart choice by that dancer to be like, doing his job, it sounds like, of supporting his castmates who were around him.
Yeah. And he ended up like, he carried her off because she like could not put weight on her foot. And I just remember, I was like, wow. And she was like hurt and, embarrassed, upset, whatever. So she's crying and, but no. And again, I was young, but it left such an impression of, it was really lovely to witness.
Absolutely. You remember it. That's a big deal. I don't remember much from when I was that age that I saw on stage or in the wings or whatever. Yes. So.
I don't know. It's all coming back. I remember. You're bringing back all the memories I've forgotten. I don't know.
It's all a wash.
Yes.
I don't know. Okay. So getting back into college, you saw some improv shows. You were like, oh, yeah, this is fun. Heidi-ho, neighbors. I don't know.
Yeah.
You probably didn't say
That's
that.
exactly what I said. How did you know?
Well,
it's the Michigan lingo.
It's the Michigan lingo. I'm very familiar.
Heidi-ho.
So, how do I'm trying to think how to like guide us. So you see this improv in college. You're in Michigan. You finish school. I guess I'm like, what's our journey from I'm in Michigan, I'm a college student, I graduate, to one day you're in LA? I mean, I'm assuming, was there any improv between your college experience and when you moved to LA and did your game show?
I would, if we want to, like, I would say I improved my life to get out here.
There you go.
I moved out to LA on a week's notice to take an internship. Yeah.
Wow. A week's notice.
Yeah. I had a 30-hour a week. So, somewhere between part-time and full-time job as a research assistant on a social science study about kids with brain injuries and how they make friends, and had this opportunity I was applying to come out for an internship in the fall, and this was like Memorial Day weekend, and I get a phone call like, yeah, I saw you're applying for the fall, but we've got a spot for the summer, and it starts on Tuesday, starts on Friday, and this was maybe a Tuesday, something like that. And I sat down with my boss, and he very graciously was like, well, could this turn into something for you? I was like, maybe. He's like, well, then you have to go.
Yeah, take the risk.
And it was just to have the support. And I did have a great community there who all sent me off, and I had to kind of raise money for the internship, and I left my goodbye picnic with the money I needed from all the generous folks, and had a friend drive cross country with me. Yeah. Wow. And everything really fell into place. Yeah. So I would say that was fairly.
Yeah,
But,
that fits. So is that moving from Michigan to here?
To Ann Arbor. Yes, from Ann Arbor to
LA?
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. June 8th of 2005 was my first day in LA.
I'd say that's improv because it was like you were making a choice and your choice was yes anded and supported by other folks on stage to help take the scene and really bring it to another level. There you go. There you go.
It's true.
And
Very
even
well
your
done.
friend,
Yes.
you know, like peas in a pod, jumping in the car with you to drive out
This
here.
is true.
There you go. See, we can tie it back to improv.
Yes.
I mean, that's a huge move to make in a 1 week's notice. A lot of respect. That's not easy. Had you ever been out to California before?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. We
so that's
traveled
good.
a lot as
Yeah.
a family, and the last time that Michigan was in the Rose Bowl was New Year's Day '98. And when my dad proposed, my dad went to Purdue, another Midwestern Big Ten school.
Yeah.
When my dad proposed to my mom in 1972, he said, "Hey, next time Purdue goes to the Rose Bowl, honey, we're going to go." So 1998 comes along. My brother went to Michigan. I went to Michigan. Purdue still hadn't gone.
Yeah.
Michigan was going to the Rose Bowl. And so we're like, well, we have to go because it's like the wedding promise. So,
And that was Tom Brady was playing quarterback. Wow, sorry, I just realized that.
I went
crazy.
to college with Tom Brady. So did 40,000 other people.
Yeah.
But that's one of my
That just
go-to
clicked for me.
lines.
Oh man,
Yeah, he wasn't even good back then. He didn't even start.
nobody really. Yeah.
It's all right.
Just some dude. Yeah.
He wasn't the goat.
he was
was just a little kid.
Yeah.
Little baby goat.
Yeah, I think they called him like a string bean. That's how they described him coming out of college. Like they're like, oh, this guy is a little string bean dude.
Yeah,
Like,
he wasn't even. Yes. So, and that was Lloyd Carr was the coach back then. So, yeah, a few coaches back. Yeah. But yeah, so then, and I'd come as a kid. Yeah, so I'd been out here before.
Yeah,
and even I worked at a camp. In the summers in college, and a friend from that lived in Orange County, and I came out to visit her one time. I remember going to Newport Beach, and my feet like got numb because the water was so cold. And I was like, "It's California. What's going on?" And she's like, "Well, it's a really big ocean, Ann." I was like, "Oh, okay."
Wow, thanks. Yeah.
I guess it is.
Great answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so you had these California experiences. You've had these improv experiences, but okay, so you move out here, and I know you've had like some incredible, like so many different jobs and like I'd say careers almost. I think you've worked in education some. I can't even list everything because I kind of know what you do now. I know a little bit of what you've done in the past. And I can't even describe it.
I confuse myself
But I
too.
think,
It's okay.
Like multifaceted. So at the time when you moved out here to California, were you what were you doing? I guess
I was interning, and then I ended up enrolling in grad school.
Okay,
a graduate program. So I did that for 2 years, and then at the end of during grad school, my mom was diagnosed with ovarian cancer, and got worse. And so when I graduated, it was pretty clear that. Well, we didn't know actually when I graduated, but so she ended up passing away not that long after I graduated. So, and that was kind of, I worked at Starbucks for a year while that happened. So, and I honestly, like, there are a few things in my life where I'm like, flight attendant is one of them now, where I'm like, I'm just curious about how things work behind the scenes.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I want to know how the carts fit in their little compartments, and
where do they go?
I want to know like the buttons they push and do they really know if there's another cell phone on? Is there, I want to know those things. And I was kind of that way about being a barista. I'm like, I want to know how the drinks get made.
Yeah. The sausage gets made, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, well, we didn't have sandwiches back then when I did it, so that was nice. Thankfully, didn't have the warmers or at least in the store I worked in, which it adds a whole other layer from everything I've heard.
Well, there's actual food, that you have to like heat up.
No, we didn't have to deal with that.
I think that's good.
Very grateful.
Yeah.
So then I was just a barista. I've done a lot of things because I very much am a like figure things out as I go along kind of person, for better or for worse. It's kind of, it gives me the flexibility to move here on a week's notice, but then my strategic life planning could use some work. So because I lived here for a long time. I moved away during the pandemic because I had been in education. I was a private tutor, mostly doing SAT and ACT. And those went away during the pandemic. So my business shrank and couldn't really afford LA rent anymore.
Yeah.
So moved to a small town in Northern California, 3 hours north of San Francisco in Mendocino County called Fort Bragg. And then while I lived there, I started working in television production.
Wow.
Because that makes sense.
In the small town 3 hours north
Yes,
of San
exactly.
Fran.
And I was a travel job, and I was 3.5 hours from an airport. So, right. So that's where I'm like, it often works that I figure out things as I go along, but then there's other times where I'm like, it probably would have made more sense if I did this when I lived in LA, but I didn't. So, but then I moved back to LA.
Yeah. So you're like, oh, I'm in this industry now. I know where I need to be for this.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll move back. And I had a good housing situation open up. You've been to my home, which is lovely.
Beautiful.
And yeah, I've been around LA enough to know good housing. And so it was like, I got to take advantage of this before someone else does.
Yeah, definitely.
So.
Okay. So what that led to, so you get this job, you come back to LA, you're on a game show.
Well, the game show was before. That was
game show was before.
Yeah,
oh, because that was
it's
pre-COVID.
okay,
Oh, yeah, you started.
Yeah, it's fine.
I got confused. Okay,
I was in
well,
the before
all right.
times.
So we gotta
get
rewind. We gotta rewind.
Okay, rewind.
Fast forward and rewind. I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We're changing time zones.
We're scrubbing through the timeline. Okay. So you find yourself on a game show.
Yes.
On a game show. Was that like just kind of on a whim? Like, oh, for fun. I live in LA. I'm gonna try and get on a game show because that's what you do.
So a friend of mine has been on. This was her 5th game show, so she'd been on a few.
Yeah.
And so,
One of
and
those
she's an
folks,
actor, and her kids are actors, and super talented. But yeah, so it's something that a lot of actors do in LA because it's a way that you can actually make money.
Yeah. I did one.
Okay.
And
see?
we got second place.
Which one did you do? You're holding back on me.
I don't even remember what it was called. It was on like a Facebook game show. But there was, it was me and 2 of my friends from college, my roommates from college, and because we all did the theater program, and we got second. But there was like one part of the competition against the other team that we lost. It was a Star Wars themed challenge because we were all Star Wars fans, so that's how we got on in the first place. They were like, "Oh, you guys know your stuff," so it was like, yeah, let us on." It was like they had to stack cinnamon rolls on the side of my head, like Princess Leia's hair, but then like see how many you could get and both hold them there by pushing it in. And ours fell. So the other team won. And then the last challenge was like,
your ears weren't sticky enough.
I know. And then there was only one more challenge after that like the last team had to do, and it involved like licking toes or something. I don't even know. I can't remember anymore.
Did you have to lick the toes or get your toes licked?
It was. See, I can't even. I think you like dipped your toes.
How could
in
you
something.
forget?
It was because I think I was so mad that we lost. Because at the time, I really needed the money. So, and we were all kind of at the time we were all very like. We needed the money. We're like a year out of college, maybe. So, it was like, we're still kind of, I mean, I still wouldn't mind, but it wasn't even that much. It was $10,000 split 3 ways before taxes.
Oh, yeah.
But for us at the time,
$12,
that was still like,
right. It's going to get you a couple months rent
where we were
and some
at,
gas to at least get to and fro. And,
exactly.
Yeah.
But
did you get a parting gift?
No. Nothing. Yeah. I'd have to go back in my email to figure out what it was even called.
I'm going to want to know. You're going to have to report back.
I never even watched it. I never found it online. So I've never even seen it.
You might have some trauma around this. You might have to work through.
I mean, we've talked about it a lot since then.
Oh, okay.
Because now, I mean, just amongst my friends, because remember that? We were like,
100%.
So
You're
close.
bonded for life for that. Yeah.
And you do all those like rounds of like, because even the day of taping, you show up and they're like, okay, are you even worth having on camera?
Yeah.
And you have to
That
prove
was the one that I
yourself.
blew. That's how I came here.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So back to you.
No, it's fine. I'm enjoying
my
this.
failed cinnamon roll game show, Princess Leia.
I kind of want to do that at a party now, just like as a party trick. Like,
it's pretty fun.
Yeah, right?
I mean, it was like afterwards, I was like, ugh, I had all the like the sugar and cinnamon and like, but whatever. It was fun.
And I do have a pretty good like homemade. Yeah, yeast the dough, roll it. Yeah. Cinnamon roll recipe.
Yeah,
so
now
that could be.
I want to eat a cinnamon roll right now.
I know it sounds really
So good, nice warm.
Cinnabon. Is there a Cinnabon nearby?
I don't know, but there should be.
There should be.
There should be
because
one
they closed down the
downstairs.
mall. There should. Yes.
Yeah.
We need to open one. We'll franchise it.
We'll talk to Matt.
Yeah, let's do it.
Good
And
idea.
then we'll play Veiled Prophet death metal
Yeah.
the whole time, and it'll attract lots of wonderful
That'd be
customers.
just line around the block. Yeah. I
100%.
can't see it going any other way.
Yeah, well, right, because there's no Cinnabon around here. It's a good
The people demand Cinnabon.
100%.
That's all they need.
Ooey gooey goodness.
Don't do this. Don't do this, Anna. I'm
Yes,
thinking
danger.
cinnamon rolls.
That's
Okay.
true. Yes.
So, game show.
Game show.
Audition happens.
Yes. So my friend who had been on game shows
Yeah.
basically got me hooked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was one of those like, oh, bring a friend on with you for the show.
Something or
Yeah.
well, and this Bobby was his name, the casting guy.
Hmm.
No, Bobby was my opponent. Maybe Bobby was the casting guy too. Billy. Anyway,
Yeah.
some diminutive name starting with B and ending with
Yeah.
an E sound. He knew his brain was like a catalog of these people. Like it is. I think my memory is good, but if someone brought my name up to him, he could probably remember me right now.
Wow.
And this was,
He's in the right business. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. It was really cool casting's a neat piece of the industry that I'm curious about and would potentially like to get involved in.
Yeah.
But, cause you get to choose the people that go on TV. So, so he had this whole Rolodex of people on his mind. And, so he somehow, I don't know if she connected me with him directly. I can't remember, or if it was just like an outreach person. Somehow someone got my info, and then so you go through auditions to make sure you can play the game. Kimberly, who was my audition partner in the early auditions, I'm still in touch with her because we basically got each other on the show.
Yeah. Like, okay, we made it. Yeah.
Exactly, because you have to be able to play the game. You have to be excited. And we were a great team, and I ended up tutoring her younger son to help him get into college, which was a lot of fun and really special. And so
That's amazing.
yeah. And so then it was the day of when you show up, and they probably bring on 20 people when they're going to have like 12 be on the show. And that was when and again, because shame embeds memory so deeply, I gave a clue for jockey that was horse rider, but then I couldn't think of, then it was, my clue I needed to describe was pony, and I said dog and blank show,
Oh, yeah.
but people didn't understand that.
Yeah.
And then I also was criticized. I said Fred and what would you say to that?
Fred and Wilma?
Okay, that was what the producer said. The guy said it. He said Ginger. I was thinking Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers.
Oh. Yeah.
But he said it, so I got it. But then I was criticized that I got lucky, and I was like, or I'm just really good at reading people and knowing what they're into. But
Yeah.
that was not. I mean, I didn't. I did get lucky, but
I mean, it's all a little bit of luck anyway, I think.
Yes,
Yeah.
agreed. So
Yeah.
So, and I had like a Slumdog Millionaire type moment with one of my rounds on the game where I was in the process of moving and was packing up my CDs. And there's this CD from the 90s where these monks sing, and it was called Chant. And like that played into one of the clues.
Wow.
And then I studied... I did study for this game show because I am a student of life.
I would.
And I was like on IMDb, and I was like studying. I'm not very good with like hip hop or rap artists, so I was studying some of that. And I'm like, oh, what movies was 50 Cent in, or whatever, And there was this list on the side of like 50 of the most famous actors ever, or whatever, or 50 most famous people ever. So I click on the list. It was like Elvis, Marilyn Monroe, and then James Dean. I was like, wait, what was that movie he was in? And I clicked on it, and it was like Rebel Without a Cause, and that plays into some of the clues as well. So it was just, so there were a couple things where I was like, yeah. Anyway,
You tried to get like well-rounded before going in.
yeah. But and then it like actually happened on the show,
Wow.
which helped. Yeah,
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That CD, that like everything.
yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
So during that process, like that first round, like you made it past, but it was a little it was a little stressful. You're like a little like, oh, okay, they're giving me some feedback here that made you go, I got to go take an improv class.
Yeah. So then I ended up just playing. Because then you're just in this room all day while people leave 2 by 2 to go play the game, and you wonder, are they going to pick me or are they not going to pick me? Like, stressful. Yeah. And all the meanwhile you're playing the game. The room was freezing. And so by the end of the day, we know they're not going to call us. But I must have showed Bobby or Billy or whatever his name is that I could play the game well enough that, they called me back the Saturday. So, but in the meantime, I was like, I froze. I've normally been pretty good about thinking on my feet in a lot of scenarios. But for whatever reason, I really couldn't. I kind of froze. And so, for whatever reason, improv seemed like the solution to that.
You're like, well, improv, I guess.
Yeah, this is the remedy. Yeah. So
how'd you find this place?
It was probably Google. And I think my friend Stephanie had done some research, and we were both on the West Side at the time. And it seemed like an accessible, and I think at that time, you could like try out a class for free. And so it felt like super low risk in that way. So
it was like, well, we need to do this because we want to be on a game show sometime. She's
a writer and was thinking it would help with her writing and developing characters and and then I had my reasons, and so we started off in Benjamin's class and then we both liked it and stuck around, and Benjamin is and he still is. I mean, he's kind of where a lot of the beginners start, and he's so welcoming and affirming and gentle and kind and just such a soft place to land. He just provides such a safe place to fail, basically. Which I think all the teachers in the studio do, but especially he was a good fit for me. And as someone who is super nerdy and cerebral, it helped me get out of my head and stop overthinking. Well, no, I mean, I still overthink, let's be honest. But I started to unlearn some of that, at least in the process of improv.
That's great. So in those, let's say first, like you attended a first class, did coming to that first class, you're like, oh, I think I want to do this more? Was that like right away? You were kind of hooked?
I think so. For me, yes. And it certainly helped. I came with a friend. I don't often. I mean, I wouldn't say typically that's an MO. I can do a lot of things by myself, but in this case, it helped. And I think I was checking in with her, and when she was all for it, then I'm like, okay, well then, because she's more introverted and more shy, more reserved, and so. And so it was also something fun for us to do together. And then along the way, there's some people I adored in those classes, and then the pandemic happened and everybody kind of disappeared, and I wasn't as vigilant or disciplined about finding people, getting phone numbers, doing Instagram, whatever. So they're just kind of like off in the mist somewhere. And yet there were these people I shared some lovely moments with and had good chats with after class and stuff. And I don't know where they are. So but I feel like LA is a constant revolving door of people in anything like this, but somehow IFTP does the revolving door better than anything else I've been a part of. Like, they are so welcoming to anyone, so good at names, and people come and go freely. And it's funny sometimes, like on social media or whatever, I'll see, I'm like, oh, that person follows or that person. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, they were part of this, like I didn't know they used to do this. And so that's fun to see, but also, but there's enough of a core group here always as well, that there's always something going on, and there's always, there's always something solid happening, and people are free to come and go in and out.
Yeah.
And whether it's that there are barriers to entry or, or it's elite or it's expensive or that there are levels or whatever it is, or just a core group that isn't welcoming. There's so many other things that can happen in LA that make that revolving door get stuck.
Yeah.
But I feel like at IFTP it flows freely in a really lovely way.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And like you said, kind of a core group. I mean, even in my time that I've only been here maybe like 2.5 years and with IFTP, and I can think about a lot of those folks that I was initially in class with. I mean, one, they've been around longer than I have, and two, like a lot of them are still around, or like, I know they stepped away for a few months, but they've come back, or like, it's just crazy to see. And also thinking, wow, 2.5 years already. I was like, oh, that's longer than I thought.
Good job.
In my head. Yeah. So thinking back to, pandemic happened, you left NorCal, eventually came back to LA due to work reasons. When you came back to LA, were you automatically interested in coming back to IFTP, or were you focused on your work?
Honestly, yeah. So, I mean, I moved back October 1st and I was in class December 1st. So, because, like unpacking has to happen.
Yeah, getting settled and...
Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, all that stuff. Pumpkin pie.
But but IFTP also played such a critical role during the pandemic for me. So there were
I know a little bit of this.
There were Zoom workshops and I was by myself. I lived by myself and I was quarantining by myself during the pandemic. And so sometimes, an IFTP Zoom workshop would be the only time I would interact with other humans in a day or even a week and it was great content. There was, there were character development workshops where we would make a character, which the song I sang at camp was out of this character that I made in this workshop and it was just like stuff I didn't even know I could do. And from Matt pushing me and saying, write a musical in 10 seconds, I'm like, what?
Do it.
And, and then we would do scenes, like dramatic scripted scenes. And I hadn't acted, unless you count being a narrator in elementary school.
I do. Because I've been a narrator before too. So
you probably did it well. Yeah. I probably was by the book. Anyway, so, but I never really acted. And there were several times in these scenes I would do where Matt and the other classmates would be like, wow, you really cried. And I was like, no, I didn't, but thanks. And I was like, wow, I guess I convinced people I actually cry on screen or something. And again, because of while I was exposed to all these things growing up, like I had to be a doctor sort of thing. Yeah. Like that was the mentality,
certain expectation
in my family or among my peers in high school. And one of us actually is a doctor. The other did take her MCATs, but she works at the zoo in Seattle with birds. She has like the coolest job of all of us, honestly. But, cool. But we, it wasn't, so there was this mentality that like acting is not an intellectual pursuit. And sorry, it was a bias, but when I started doing it, I was like, no, you like totally need your brain for this. And it's so fun to think about backstory and all these different things and put the thoughts in behind all the stuff. And I'd never really like thought about acting in any way before, but got exposed to it in this lovely way through these workshops and the other humans. It was, Rebecca Sturman and Gail Montague and Maria Rogers and Sky Patterson and Sky Liam now. I think
Sky Liam Patterson.
Yeah, I was like he goes by something different now. But these people that I didn't know, and so and it still took, even after I got back several months in, I finally met Maria Rogers in person. For the first time, and we like honestly didn't stop hugging each other for 3 solid minutes, like because there was those people literally got me through the pandemic. And not to, of course, Matthew Moore as well. But maybe so.
He was there.
Yeah. So, and Sachiko, and there were just, those moments were so special and kept me connected to community. But then, when folks in LA started going back to class together, then the online stuff stopped, which is fine. I support that, but it was hard.
It was a big change.
So, but those classes were also just a critical part of getting me through, creatively, emotionally. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it was able to check so many boxes. Like you said, I mean, creative, emotion, like the need for social interaction, like that was so scarce at that time. I think,
I know. We made it
insane.
somehow.
Insane. Yeah. It was like, I'm trying to do what I think is the right thing to do to keep everybody safe.
So intense.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're in this weird, like, we're not there. I think it'll be curious to see how the results and the effects keep playing out over time.
Yeah, like 10 years from now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and educationally, we don't want to go there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Lord.
That's a whole new podcast.
Yes.
We're talking 60 episode series. Because I would bet you and I both have like seen some things firsthand and can speak on that.
Yeah. Yeah. Which we don't need to do right now. Yeah. It's okay.
Yeah, that's again a whole other discussion.
We can leave that with Columbine September 11th. In the back.
Yeah.
But yes, was so grateful.
Yeah.
For what IFTP did for me during the pandemic and to be able to come back in person.
Yeah.
So, and then I landed with Ava on Monday nights, and Ava had been gone when I joined.
Right.
That was her New York phase of life. Yeah. And I'd heard about this person, but had no idea what a sweet, warm, delightful human I was in store for. She has a way with all of us, but I think it works really well for me in terms of her. She has a way of like correcting and encouraging that works for me, and that doesn't feel like, this is what you did wrong. Which she said, like, she has a good way of encouraging improvement. I would say that works for me and helps. And yeah,
I remember when I started, it was near when she was coming back, I think. So people were talking about it, and I was like, I don't know who that is. I was like, that's cool. Someone's coming from New York. Like, that's nice, I guess. Like, I didn't know. People just,
I guess he's okay.
Ava's coming back. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. She had her reputation preceded her.
Yeah. People were excited.
We haven't done the whispering very much.
Yeah. So she's returning. She's returning from the East.
Yes.
With lessons. Wisdom of the big city.
Yes, with stories.
Stories of the rats.
Pigeons.
Pigeons and secrets of tunnels and trains.
The smells of the subway.
Slices of pizza. That's all I got. Big apple.
So good.
Yeah. So I remember that. And that was, but what you're saying about Ava's class, I think is very true. Like you said, so confused. I think she subbed one of my early classes that I was in here at IFTP, and I remember being like, "Whoa,
she's dynamite."
She was fantastic.
Yeah,
fantastic. And as someone who was still relatively new to the studio at the time, it helped me feel very welcome as well. So I appreciated that. It's like, because a lot of people knew each other, and I think I was jumping in not long after everyone had come back in person to IFTP, which is why I joined, because I was like, in person, y'all are doing that? Oh, okay. No one else is. Yeah. And I was, desperate for that. So
yeah,
it was a big part of it. Okay. So have you been with IFTP pretty consistently kind of since that point when you came back?
Theoretically, yes.
Theoretically, yes. Okay.
I have signed up for classes every month.
But life.
Well, right. Yeah. And so I do work in television production now. And thankfully, again, it was fairly miraculous that I did work a lot last year, which was not a thing for a lot of people in the industry. Yeah. But I work on the docu-reality side, so the strikes didn't affect that work as much. So, I worked... I worked a lot, and I worked on shows that were out of town a lot. And so And Matt is so gracious and flexible in so many ways. And yeah, so I came when I was here, but I was also gone a lot. So then did a lot of makeups, which then is a lot of fun because then I got to be back with Benjamin a lot,
of
and
variety.
I love him and adore him till the end of time. And yeah, and so and then was with Matt sometimes, and so have done a lot of makeups, and but yeah, also missed a lot. So, and the other great thing about Monday is that it is a really solid core of consistent people. And so there's a lot of familiarity that grows over time, knowing your scene partners well. And so, and kind of knowing like, oh, you know, if Becca pulls out that voice, or if Mike does this thing, or if Skylar, you know, or Jen, or just knowing like fundamentally we've got each other's backs.
Yeah.
Or like if I do this wackadoodle thing, we're still going to hang out next week. Or, you know, yeah, Sushant and I had a really crazy scene the other week. But it wasn't weird at all because we were in it together and we knew we had each other. So, so having those longer term relationships in class and outside of class, we also do spend a lot of time together outside of class. And like 10 of us were at camp.
Yeah, I remember.
And
the strong presence of the Monday class.
We represented.
Yeah. Now that I know like the roster of that class, I'm like, oh yeah.
A lot of us have been
like,
in this chair.
Yeah, I was like, all those folks you named, I was like,
yeah. A lot of them have been here. Yeah. So, yeah. And so then, and I totally have FOMO a lot. So it's definitely, there have been times where it's been hard to be gone, or I just get rusty and then I, you know, question myself or but last night felt good. So that's nice.
yeah. I bet you were great. Yeah. All right. So thinking about improv, we got a couple more questions and then we're going to do some improv.
Okay.
All right. This is, I would say like, what do you think has been like the impact? It's such a big question. I say it so like nonchalantly, but like, what do you think has been the impact of improv in your life? I mean, because it's been now, I mean, 2019, that's going back a few years. You had that time during the pandemic where you were still connected to this community, still doing improv, still getting creative, writing songs, which are fantastic, by the way. Check it out. The musical's coming soon, I think.
Maybe so.
Next month.
Completely. I'm just going to write it
done,
right now. Yeah.
Choreographed, memorized. One-woman show, musical.
A friend did suggest that, but yes. I know.
I could see it. I feel like you'd put on a great one-woman show, Ann.
Thank
you. I'm there. At the Muni.
Well, I'm sorry. So you must not have Googled me then.
Only I did LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook.
Okay.
I, due to certain appointments that I had before, which are not normally scheduled at this time, unfortunately, the research phase was limited today.
That's fine. Well, I mean, I could. So if you were to Google me, you would find a blog from when I did a road trip to visit my Facebook friends in person. And I saw 480 friends in 480 days and drove 45,000 miles around the country.
Wow.
That
sounds so cool.
And I am trying to write a musical about that. So.
Yeah. Oh, that's okay. Well, let me know. I'm there.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Or you can be in it. We'll see. That'd be fun.
I got to go to an improv class to get ready. And a music class. I got to brush up a little bit.
No. I've heard you too. You're fabulous.
You're kind.
I tell it like it is.
I appreciate it. Wow, I'm sad I missed researching that. Because that's now like my brain is like just exploded.
There's a lot to say there.
That's incredible.
But it was the best thing I've ever done. And
that's amazing.
Right. So that song that you heard will potentially end up in it. But yes, that the context of that was maybe writing a musical about aliens, which maybe I'll do someday. I don't know, but
hey, that would be great too. Well,
but I think this has a few more legs. Though maybe, I mean, aliens probably have lots of legs too. Who knows? Or maybe they're not legs, they're appendages. I don't know.
We can't say.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
Okay. I have some reading to do.
I don't know. The blog was just a lot of like word vomit, honestly. I didn't believe in editing back then. I didn't believe a good writer should have to edit.
Look who you're talking to. This guy who doesn't trim a lot from podcasts. So
Fair, which is slightly terrifying. But
that's what keeps it interesting.
For sure.
In my opinion. That's why we're here to learn about you, and I don't want to take away any of that, when I edit. Because, the show's for the guests, not for me. Like, it's about the people who are in that chair. And tonight, that's you.
Well, for better, for worse.
For better, yeah. Yeah.
No, but you do such a good job of drawing things out of people. I did love Becca's podcast though, because she got you to talk about yourself. And I did love that.
I did an episode where I interviewed myself. That exists.
Oh, okay. See, I haven't listened. I start with the people I know. I
did that just because, it was around the holidays and I didn't have anyone booked. So I was like,
you're like, here we go.
Yeah, I was
me, myself, and
what?
I. Well, I mean, it could be your multiple personalities. Or your character, different characters that you did it. Oh, there you go. Okay.
So when I filmed
idea.
it, I sat in both chairs and edited it together so it's like seamless, and I put on glasses for one and took them off for the other. So I did do that because
I kind of love that.
I wanted
so
to have
much.
fun with it. If I was going to be in here, recording by myself for an hour and a half,
you gotta make it fun.
Yeah,
I love it.
It was a
check it out, friend.
Late
you
December
check
night.
It out. I love it.
The video really plays, I think, because it's me and then other me.
No, I get the I think Clark Kent and Superman kind of messed us all up with the glasses thing because and as someone, I had glasses. My first day with glasses was my first day of kindergarten. And so, and I wasn't allowed to get contacts until 8th grade. And so I would do this thing where if I saw someone from elementary school later in life, when I would point at myself and I'd it's me. It's Anne, because I didn't think they'd recognize me.
Because you didn't have your glasses. Yeah.
Exactly, because clearly nobody recognized Superman as Clark Kent.
They didn't. It really worked.
Yeah. So, but it's it's an alter ego of sorts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not many people see that look. I do wear them, just only in certain contexts. So
I know. I'm curious.
It's a rare look, mostly just driving. Like tonight when I drive home, I'm going to need them. I want to be able to read the signs and
we support
differentiate
that
the cars.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Yeah.
It's more for everyone else's safety. Yeah.
Yeah. We definitely support that choice.
Yeah. So those are my nighttime glasses.
Yeah.
Basically.
Smart move.
But I guess they've been on a podcast, so they're not, it's not very hidden.
Well, you got it. But again, you had to mix it up. You had to show the distinction.
Yeah.
Between Michael 1 and Michael 2.
I didn't want to confuse the audience.
That's right.
Is this the same guy?
Right. What's happening here?
Is he talking to himself?
You're like, no, it's other me. It's me.
Yeah.
It's Michael.
Like, oh, sorry, I confused you. Yeah. I don't have a twin. Oh dear.
I would point at myself.
Oh dear.
Anyway.
All right. So so I asked, what do you think has been the impact of improv on your life?
Was that the question?
Yeah, well, because you told me about the musical that you're working on. I think because I mentioned musicals, and then you were like, "Yo, I got to tell you this."
No, because I didn't actual musical.
I didn't do my research as thoroughly.
It's okay. It's all right. I support your previous appointment. I would say most fundamentally, it's gotten me out of my head. And I am a thinker. I'm a nerd. I'm an overthinker. And it gets me more into the present moment. And it's gotten me more okay with failure, or what feels like failure. If I feel like I've had a bad night in class, I get over it a lot more quickly now.
Yeah.
And I just come to accept the ebbs and flows of creativity and performance. And I would not be the same person without the community I've found in the people here. I'm just so grateful. I don't know, there's something that feels really sacred about what happens here. And because it's a place where people can come and be themselves. Yeah. And fail together, and succeed together, and laugh, and be silly and poignant and I think the conversations I've had with people after class in social situations have really mattered a lot in my life. And it's just fun to have a place to come and laugh, like a lot.
Yeah, a lot.
And to whether it's the shows or class, and it's shown me things inside of myself creatively that I didn't know were there. I didn't know were possible. And so then it makes me wonder, oh, what else is there? What else is possible? Which is fun to explore. So and I'm just so grateful for how intentionally accessible these classes are to people and to the community that I found here.
Well said. Well said. Part that, I mean, you just said that thing about, comfort or like the ability to like accept failure, right? So that's one I am always, I've talked about it before, but I'm always still working on that. And like you said, like, if I have a rough class, like being able to move past that or a rough scene or whatever that is. And like, I can think of times where I was driving home from like one night and be like, oh man, this was not it tonight. But all right, so many things, so much richness from this place and from improv that, you've, I think, drawn from it, which is really amazing.
Well, and from listening to your other episodes and things other people have said, like, I am an empath by nature, but to hear that other people, like people are learning empathy, like there's a place that you can go and learn to be empathic, like on the planet, like let's do more of that, please. I think we need it everywhere, everyone, so that's that's incredible. Let's bottle it up and figure out how to get it out there more.
Because help some people.
Right. And help each other, help people beyond here, it's so important. Yeah. So
I've always thought of, I have not always thought this, but as I've gotten older, I guess I've thought this, like mentioning empathy, like I guess with acting and improv too, when it's like that old lesson from, To Kill a Mockingbird, like walking a mile in another man's shoes. But that similar thing of like, when you're playing a character, you're taking on a perspective different from your own. There may be some similarities and you pull from yourself to play that character, but at the end of the day, it's an opportunity to see someone else's perspective too. And that as your character influences all your choices. But like, that's, like you said, empathy. It's understanding of someone else, someone different than yourself, which is a beyond crucial skill to have. And something that we're very much lacking in globally.
100%.
Yeah. It's like this art form and its kind of cousins in art, acting, improv, these different things, like, is a great way to learn that. And without even realizing it, you learn it, I think. Because it's, whether you're playing a wacky character who's like, no, I throw spoons at people because, this is like, that's understanding a perspective different than your own, even if it's totally ridiculous. Like,
I mean, I do throw spoons at people, but.
Well, as you should.
Yeah.
But, some people deserve it. There's not many places that gets taught, I don't think. I can't think of any right now.
Right. You can't go sign up for empathy lessons somewhere. Yeah. But like, probably some people would like to.
Yeah. Or they recognize it, like, hey,
or like it should be court ordered or something,
Yeah, it should be court ordered. Also true. Yeah.
Yeah. To like corporate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Can you imagine like what would have happened at the strikes if the corporate CEOs had empathy lessons?
Yeah. The guy who just got the $20 million bonus.
Oh, I see. I didn't know that. Yeah. Right. Like, yeah. What could the world be like?
Yeah, in so many scenarios, like, I'm basically thinking of scenarios with like large power dynamics, like this person and this person.
Right.
Like, not that they might, I'm saying, not, I'm getting all tripped up, but not, see, I can't even speak. I'm just like, so those people at the top may have some empathy, but maybe they're not, or just got a little lost along the way, And sometimes people at the bottom too. Everybody.
Right. Well, and that
Everybody
makes me
could use a
think
little
of we do the status exercises in class,
in
right?
improv,
And I don't know. And something I have to work on in my scenes a lot is I try to make it better for everybody because I also do that in life.
Yeah.
Recovering people pleaser and perfectionist. Lovely combo. But, I think of if I were to go in an interview situation, like if I were to put on some high status before I did that, and that would be a really great tool. So, which I probably should have done that in my last interview. Maybe I would have gotten the job, but it's okay.
That's tough in an interview though, because it's like, you're the one who needs something coming in.
That's true.
You're like, please give me this job. Like,
right. Or if there's like a conflict with a coworker or something, or, whatever it is, like that's something I can put on.
Yeah.
Right. Or if I'm in a conflict with a roommate or something, like, okay, maybe I need to adopt a more lower status in this and or just, and listen a little bit better or, right.
Yeah. Whatever that is. Yeah, definitely. Whew. All right. Y'all come do some improv, learn some empathy. Okay. Right. And then take it home and teach it to other people at home, please.
And beyond. Yes.
And maybe we can fix some things. Yeah. Maybe.
Just a few. Just the whole world,
You gotta hope.
Small ambitions here.
Yeah.
In Anna with the Funny Last Names podcast.
Small changes, big impact.
That's right.
That's the idea.
Here we go. I like it. I like it.
Just a little bit of empathy spread over a wide group of folks.
And there can be like dance moves. That go with it. Yeah.
Like the wave. Everyone does a small movement, but together.
Do you know the two best places to do the wave?
The Michigan Stadium.
Michigan Stadium
I don't
is
know what
one.
It's called.
It's called Michigan Stadium. So good job. Because they do it. It's so fun. They do it like slow mo, and they do it really fast, and then they pass it two ways.
Yeah.
For the second best place, Rose Bowl. So especially when there's Michigan fans there, because then they do the Michigan wave.
Like, oh guys, we got this. We got this. We got this.
So. Yeah,
makes sense.
But you get 100,000, over 100,000 people somewhere.
Yeah, that's got to be that Michigan Stadium is probably one of the biggest ones.
It is
in the U.S. I'm sure.
Yeah, someone built one bigger, and then we built it bigger than this year.
It's like, hey, all right, everyone.
Leaders and best, baby.
Yep. Go blue. There it is. Wolverines.
Right, they're very fierce. Which are could be
Hugh Jackman.
I got you. I got you. I wasn't born under a rock.
We've probably seen it all the like Wolverine comparisons. I'm sure.
Maybe so.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. I mean, you're an alum. I'm a dude. Loosely knows about the school. I got nothing.
You're doing good. Hey, you knew the Tom Brady era.
That's true. Yeah,
that's something.
Yeah, there's a brief time in my life where I wanted to go there. It didn't work out, but there was a time I was like, yo, just U of M. It's the place. Yeah.
We do the Block M quite well. Yeah. Well, and it's funny because the University of Missouri also has a Block M, which there was a whole thing going around because Mizzou is what it's nicknamed, played Ohio State in a bowl game. So there were jokes that Ohio State, our big rival, was going to have a Block M that they were facing. But every time I go home to St. Louis, I'll see the Block M, and like my reaction, my like guttural reaction, my improv not thinking reaction every time I see Michigan gear is that I go blue someone. Yeah. And it's a verb. I go blue them. I just like I have been driving down Hollywood Boulevard, seen someone in Michigan gear, I roll down the window and I scream out the window, go blue.
Yeah. I love that.
But I just can't help myself.
Yeah.
However, in Missouri, it's not a Michigan M. It's a Mizzou M. So I have to like check myself.
Wait.
Be like, yeah. It's okay.
Makes sense.
I mean, if that's the worst thing I'm going to do is like accidentally go blue someone. Yeah. It's okay.
Yeah. Like as a sports thing to say, there are a lot of other, sports fans can say a lot of bad things. So, that's generally like, I'm just cheering for my team passionately.
The hockey fan, the Michigan hockey cheers are pretty.
Yeah. Hockey's a rough sport. They're still fighting in hockey.
Yeah. The nicest thing they call someone is a chump. And that starts the cheer. Everything's downhill from there.
I can only imagine.
Because those are like, if you're a Michigan hockey player, chances are you probably grew up somewhere north of Michigan.
Yeah.
north of Ann Arbor, which means it's just really cold.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
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 I mean,
So you're grizzled by that.
Oh yeah, and hockey players too. I mean, hockey is I think physically still that's. I mean, football too, but I don't know. Hockey, you're also on ice, so that's
Right. Well, and there's a threat of
yeah, the blades.
Yeah.
You got knives on your feet.
Yeah.
Football, you do not have knives on your feet.
No. Yeah. I was born after a hockey game, so.
There you go.
Yeah. My parents went. My mom came home, took a bath.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm genetically predisposed to like hockey.
Wow. There it is.
Yeah.
It's in your history.
Yes.
Amazing.
The Blues, though, got to be the St. Louis Blues.
I didn't know the St. Louis hockey team. St. Louis Blues. I don't know hockey that well. I don't know.
It's okay.
It's Anaheim Ducks.
Chris Pronger, who was one of my crushes in high school, who was a 6'4" defenseman, eventually came to the Anaheim Ducks.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. I think they're kind of a joke of a team, I think. So,
Probably now. Yeah.
yeah. I think they're not so hot these days.
It's okay.
Who's good? I don't know who's good.
I don't even know.
Boston Bruins are good. That's all I know.
Or this season or just in general?
I think in general. Okay. Boston teams.
Oh, yeah. I did Red Wings. I mean, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Detroit.
Yeah. But Blackhawks.
Oh, yeah. Chicago.
Yeah. But, see, I know
a few. St. Louis
I always
Blues.
say that,
okay,
yes. So it's like the song, but also the team.
Ah.
The logo is a blue note, which would be like, I know, it's like a 128th note or something stupid.
Gosh,
it has way too many flags on it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's not an eighth. It's not a 16th.
It's way too many.
They got real creative with it.
They did. Yes. But yeah, so I just always say, I always say I'm a fan, not a follower. Like, I couldn't tell you who any players on any of my teams are right now, but I'm always going to cheer for them. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't name too many hockey players. Never mind. I'm not even going to try.
So so after I came off a true crime show I worked on last summer, I started working in live sports because when the Olympics come to LA in 2028, I'm like, I love the Olympics. I'd love to work the Olympics.
Yeah,
so I need some live sports experience. Yeah. So I did 2 weeks of Monday Night Football when I did the Chargers versus the Cowboys. I did the USC versus UCLA game. I did
Caleb Williams.
Oh, sure. Okay. Yeah, I was on the field. I don't know.
You were there.
He was probably there too.
You shared the field.
Something. And then I worked the NBA in-season tournament, which was the
Vegas.
So I did. It was the first time there'd ever been one. I made a tuna fish sandwich for Dr. J, for Dr. Julius Irving. That was really fun. Yeah. I was like literal inches from Shaq, who is a ginormous human. He was like shaking hands with a security guard I was talking to. Yeah. But St. Louis didn't have an NBA team when I was growing up. But I remember when I was like 7 or 8 years old, going to a game where it was like, let's show the NBA that St. Louis wants a team. So we need to cheer really loud. And so I was just like, what? And then we never got a team. And so I was like, I didn't cheer loud enough. I blamed myself for a really long time.
You gotta let it go in. It's not your fault.
Thank you. So when I went to Michigan, the Pistons were good then because it was Ben Wallace and one of my favorite all-time names, Chauncey Billups.
That's a great name. That's a great athlete name.
Yes. Yeah. Chauncey Billups.
Chauncey Billups.
Chauncey Billups. It's fun to say like that. But yeah, so the Pistons were good then. So then I kind of cheer for the Pistons. Yeah. But then the tournament was like the Bucks, the Pelicans, the Pacers, and the Lakers. And then the final was the Pacers and the Lakers. And I was like, I guess I could probably cheer for the Lakers, but LA. You're Clippers though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I have a friend who works for the Lakers too, and he gave me an in-season tournament champions T-shirt.
Oh, God, I have, yeah. Oh,
he's like a net. Maybe I shouldn't say. He works for the Lakers.
Got it. Yeah, nice. Yeah. Oh, that's fun. Well, and there was a moment because we were just in the bowels of of the T-Mobile Arena in Vegas,
right?
And at one point, these two identical giants come walking toward me, and it turns out they're these twin brothers that play for the Bucks.
Oh, Giannis and Thanasis.
Sure. I don't know.
I know they're brothers. I don't know if they're twins, but they're both. I mean,
or maybe it's I don't know. They were huge, and it was just, like everywhere. There were just huge humans, and you're like,
oh right,
they come this big, like they make them this large.
You don't see people that tall every day. You really don't.
No, but
they're all playing basketball. That's
though. Actually, a trombone at the University of Michigan, Carl Popowski, was in my brother's wedding party. He's 6'9" and plays the trombone. And anytime he gets asked if he plays basketball, he says, "No, do you play mini golf?" So
yeah, he's probably gotten that a lot.
Yes, he has. He's a large dude, and very kind. I adore him. I have lots of like adopted big brothers. So, but a lot of times in those scenarios, I'm in charge of like snacks and making sure the snacks are stocked and that the snacks are in all the different places in all the different rooms where they need to be.
Yeah.
And as a result, like, because blood sugar matters and snacks matter and people do better when they have snacks. And so then I get to know people. And so then the Laker girls, the dancers, like anytime I'd enter the room, they'd scream, "Eh!"
Oh, that's fun. It's like that greeting. Yeah.
It was. So I'm like, I'm mostly straight, but like, man, I would just get the giggles every time.
like stop. Yeah.
But so they ended up, they left me like a little signed photo at the end of the whole thing. And they're like, "Thanks for everything, Ann." Oh. So yeah, my buddy. So now I'm like, well, now I have to like try to find a way to go see my new friends again.
Yeah.
Like I should go to a game and
get back out there.
and then start throwing snacks at them forever. I am at the stands.
I'm back. And this
exactly.
time.
And they'll be like,
I got more for you. Yeah.
So
that's really nice.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. And like my boss was like, because I do like, especially when we were there for like a week.
Yeah.
And I don't know. And the most important people are like the people cleaning out the trash, the people putting out the food, And so I got to know people. And my boss was like, "Ann, do you know everyone in the stadium?" And I was like, maybe.
You're like pretty close. Just
kind of.
A couple folks I'm trying to hunt down still.
So anyway, it's a fun time.
Oh, man. Yeah. Amazing. And I think, like you said, important to get to know everyone who's like really making it happen. It's like puts the whole venue in the place so that it's ready for the players, right? It's like those are the folks, like without them, there would be no tournament.
Right. Well, and I think it was Life's Little Instruction Book had a thing that was like, imagine if you didn't do your job for 30 days. Now imagine if a garbage collector didn't do their job for 30 days.
Chaos.
Whose job is more important? And I just... Yeah. It's the people who are on the theoretical bottom who are actually the most important, always. And, secretaries and janitors run the world because they have the keys. They have the access to the schedules. And so they're the most important people.
Yeah, they keep places in a condition where you want to come back to them. And they control that. Yeah.
And they have the most thankless jobs a lot of times. Yeah. And so treating... The people with the thankless jobs like they're most important can, if nothing else, it makes one person's day a little bit better. Yeah. So I try to do that one person at a time.
I think it's a good philosophy. Plus, thinking about, I know there's been garbage strikes in like New York City before.
Yeah. Right. Most important job. Most important job.
Yeah, that's a very powerful way to remind people, be like, hey, this could get nasty really quick. Yeah. Just remember us. Yeah. And pay them well.
Please.
Yeah. It benefits all of humanity. Yeah.
100%.
All right, Ann. I got one more question for you.
Oh, gosh.
Then we're going to do some improv.
Oh, that's right. That's why we're here. I forgot.
Yes, me too. That's all right.
Yeah, it's all right.
We've done a little bit of whispering. Some good little bits here and there.
I know. It was all about Ava. You're whispering about Ava.
Ava, she's coming. She's returning.
She's coming back. It's funny.
All right.
Okay.
So the last question.
I
said Ava told me to ask you this. That's not true. Looking ahead to 2024, I think you and I kind of talked about this a little bit earlier, but circle back, maybe off air. In improv, in your creative work, are there any like, not even necessarily goals, but like tasks, things you're hoping to accomplish or things you're like, I want to try this year.
I appreciate your reword. The G word is a bad word in my world. I hate the G word, which my roommate is a coach. And so when I first told her that, it looked like I was killing puppies or something, or she just like shrank and shriveled, poor thing. Yeah. So yes, one of my, and it was actually a goal, I can actually own that, of coming into this year was to be in a show. And I was just asked last night, so I'm going to be in a show February 16th. Yep.
Go in. So, and with the funny last name.
Whoop, whoop.
Improv show near you.
So it'll be my first show. And I'd love to do more. So that, because I think I do like performing.
Yeah.
Ever since those narrator in the school play days. But yeah, I think there's some, and what's hard is that the parts of improv that are in shows, clap-ins especially, are something I struggle with. And so I'm just curious to see like if it's different when it's put in front of people.
Yeah.
So I think there's a way that your brain's got to click.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, whether it's just, fatigue from the day or from 2.5 hours of class, or I think it's something I'm getting better at, but it's something I still want to keep working on, and perhaps the show is a good way to try that out.
It is.
And I think otherwise, I'd love to, since I've restarted careers in the television industry, I've been at one level, and I'd love to make it to the next level of a higher position. And I think that I'm doing I'd love to do more of the workshops. Like I'm doing the drama prov.
Yeah.
That's coming up. I hear there's like a sketch writing class or something.
There is. It's so exclusive.
Oh.
That there will be some planning for that in the near future.
Lovely. I did do, we had 1 month of musical improv in August, which was incredible. I was supposed to leave town for work, and I made things so I could take a red eye so that I could be here for class.
Wow.
Because it was such a magical class, and I'd love to be able to do more of that. And
I want to take that class too.
It's
good things.
You would be, it would be so right up your alley. It is. It's super fun. And it was it was a mix of people from lots of different classes too, which is really fun.
It's like a shuffle.
Yeah. And the talent of Branson, the guy who is like the accompanist, it's just such a special talent.
Those people who can do that, play along, the musicians for improvised musicals are insane.
Yeah.
That's you don't even realize it. You're like, most people can't do that.
No. And Lauren was such a great teacher.
Yeah.
And so I hope for more of that. I would love to do Jamie's clown workshop. I've heard great things about that. I think just expanding and growing, and I would love to. I did get a few snippets for a little bit of a song the other day, so
write it.
That felt. I did do some time at the piano and sit down with that. So, so hopefully some more fleshing out of the musical. So we'll see.
Those all sound like incredible things. Like you said, expanding horizons, because you're like, I'm here at IFTP. I've been taking these classes, but you're going to sneak in some other opportunities as well, which I think is part of the fun of being here. And I'm glad those offerings are available. Hopefully sketch as well soon, because I miss doing that. So I want to bring it back to you, because it's a ton of fun. A lot of work, ton of fun. We'll leave it at that. But you got the right approach, the right mindset. You're like, these are things I want to do. Going to make them happen. And kicking the year off with a show pretty soon, that's a great way to do it, and see what else happens from there. I'm excited for you.
Thanks. Me too.
You ready to do some improv?
Let's do it.
All clap-ins.
Oh, shit.
No, exactly zero clap-ins.
Beautiful.
All right. So
now I got an explicit rating, unless you want to edit that out.
Honestly, they're all rated explicit.
Oh.
I found,
just in case.
Yeah, the show is just...
Oh, I would have talked a whole lot differently if I'd known that. No, actually.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. Normally, I do talk like a sailor a lot. And so I'm a little surprised. But hey, here we are.
Here we are.
Took me that long. I don't even know how long. It's been a while. But
we're doing great.
Great.
We're doing great. All right, so we've got 3 games we're going to be playing tonight. This first one, I'm going to change it up a little bit because now that I'm reading this back, I don't like it or I don't understand it.
Okay.
I'm like, why did I pick this? Sometimes we make choices that we don't like later, and that's life. So this game we're going to play.
It's a safe place for failure.
Exactly. We're at IFTP. If not here, then where?
Exactly.
So in this game, let's call it the one-upping game.
Oh.
I love this game. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But too bad we're playing it. So, Anne, you and I are going to be planning an event. Let's see. And the type of event that we're going to be planning is... We're going to be planning a rock concert. You and I are planning a rock concert.
For Veiled Prophet?
We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see. I mean, hopefully. And in this game, we're just going to try and one-up each other as we plan this event
Okay.
for the rock concert.
Okay.
Rock concert. And I'll have you go ahead and start. I'll black us out when we're done.
Okay. No need to be confused, Roger. The band is on their way. They're bringing 47 amps.
Yes, you're right. You're right. No, I'm not confused, Diesel. I'm just I'm just stressed because to play with the band, I call in a few favors, and I actually have Kiss is coming in to play with Veiled Prophets. They're gonna a surprise cameo, and I'm nervous about them showing up. It's gonna be a huge deal. 47 amps, Veiled Prophets, Kiss.
Well, I did, Kiss is amazing. And then, I gotta get our tongues ready. And then we gotta buy all the black and white makeup from everywhere.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I did.
It's gonna be huge.
It's gonna be huge. Yeah. So huge, in fact.
Yeah, it's gonna be big for me that I was able to get Kiss here. No biggie.
But who called me? The King of England.
King of England.
He's gonna come. He apparently is a closeted hard rock fan.
Oh my goodness!
And so he's gonna come and he's gonna cheer. And so we got the special box for him. But because I was able to secure the special spot.
Oh my goodness!
So it's a little bit important that it's a good show. So I'm glad that you got a Kiss because the King is coming.
That's incredible. I mean, the King of England. I mean,
Charles.
Wow.
Chaz.
Wow. First name basis. Chaz. Well, that's pretty
the
nice.
Buds,
I mean, would you say it to his face? Diesel. I mean, that's great that the King is coming. I mean, I imagine he's probably coming because he may have heard that Kiss would be here thanks to me. But there's actually another VIP guest that we have coming, and
who's that?
There may be a lot of controversy around this guest, but I think Diesel, no press is bad press. Am I right?
I mean, it depends, Roger.
I actually got Kim Jong-un. Yeah, he's a fan of Kiss, big fan, and Kiss was not willing to make a trip out to North Korea.
Understandably.
So I spoke to Kim, and he said he'd like to come
That's his
here.
last name. Do you not know anything about the Korean culture?
Look, Diesel, I'm not a details person. I make big moves, and I don't let my ignorance get in the way of my planning abilities.
What's so funny, Roger? I don't understand.
I'm just sometimes I laugh when I get frustrated.
Oh, I see.
Because
that's smart.
I
understand.
I feel as my planning contributions have been better than yours.
Well, I mean, maybe a little. No, actually, well, see, but there's going to be protesters then. If Kim Jong-un is coming, as you say, he's coming. I mean, I have a little bit yet to believe it because,
he RSVP'd on Google Calendar, so that.
Do they even have Google Calendar in North Korea?
He does.
Because he just like runs the show or something.
Yeah, he's got different internet.
Just for him.
Yeah.
Isn't that special?
It's very special.
So, but the king, he's for real coming.
Oh, he's for real coming.
And, Charles, we don't need any other. We don't even need to know his last name.
We don't.
Or his first. I mean, we know his first name. But anyway. So, but there's going to be protests. And so I have a feeling that because you're such a good planner, you're going to have to be out there dealing with the protests. Which, you know what? That means I'm going to have my own private concert with the king in his box. While you work so hard. You're so good at planning. And so you're just going to have to figure out what to do with all these protesters that are going to come for your special guest. And then he's probably going to have to leave. And so then it's going to be Veiled Prophet and Kiss and the 47 Amps and King Charles and me. Private concert.
Oh, Diesel. Oh, how you think you're right.
Oh, I am.
Oh, well, yes, you think you are. Yes, we can agree on that you think you're right. But
no, I just am.
I have actually I anticipated these protesters showing up because I realized the controversy surrounding Kim Jong-un. I intend to kill the protesters with kindness. I made you nervous there for a second when I said kill, I imagine. I kill them with kindness.
Oh.
I'm going to invite them into the concert and allow the power of rock and roll music to unite the crowd. They're going to be jamming out, singing along Kiss. I want to rock and roll all night. We're going to have t-shirt cannons, free popcorn. I'm going to win these protesters over. They're going to see the production value of this event that we've planned, that I've led on the planning for. Really be blown away.
But production value at what cost? Who's going to pay for these T-shirts and this popcorn and all this stuff? I mean, you got to think about that. However, I already called the fire marshal who's going to be there. Because, he and I go way back. It's an East Coast thing, okay? And, those firemen, I get along with them real well. I'm just saying. They like a little redhead. What can I say? But he's going to be there. And it sounds like these protesters, because the concert's already sold out, you're going to be breaking fire code. And so they're going to kick you out anyway. So pretty sure it's going to be my private concert again.
Diesel.
Roger.
Have you no faith?
I have tons of faith in my people.
Look, I may not be from the least coast, but I've got a plan.
I must just say, it's leased as in Leased, because so many people are paying rent because they want to live there. That's what I'm saying.
You got me there.
Thanks.
You got me there.
Yeah, it's the least. It's so many leases. So many leases.
So many leases. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, but you were saying.
I actually plan to make a phone call.
That's rude. We're in a conversation.
Well, no. This isn't the future. It's a future phone call. I wouldn't dare disrespect you like that.
Thank you.
Before the concert starts, about 30 minutes before the concert starts, I'm going to make a phone call. Call in a fire that is on the other side of town. But here's the trick. No fire. Prank fire. That way no one's getting hurt. Just, your own fire marshal might be a little late. West Coast, Best Coast.
Okay, do you know how the fire department works?
Similar to how I don't understand Korean culture, I do not know how the fire department works.
So
blackout. Oh no!
I laughed so I made my micro.
Oh, you got me so bad. You said that, and I was like, oh yeah, wait a second, and then I was like, I don't even know. I got so.
Shout out to Janice Kim, my best friend in high school, who taught me that Kim is the most common name in Korea.
Yeah, the last name comes first. Yeah,
couldn't have been here without her.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Oh, man.
It's okay. We're all a little bit racist. It's totally fine.
Yeah.
Well, and actually, ironically, the East Coast accent, whatever that was, is something I've been trying to work on, like holding on to for a long period of time. So she just came out. I didn't know. Diesel. Yeah. That was a great name. That was a better name than Roger, by the way.
I like Roger. I think I'm a Roger. I'm a Roger. Oh, man. That was good. All right. Thank you, Anne, for that. That concert, that will be an experience. I think the King will have a good time. Yeah. And then
King Charles.
I'm not sure about everyone else, but the King is going to have a great experience.
For sure.
No matter what happens.
Yes.
Charles has been guaranteed a good time.
100%.
All right. For this next game, this game is called Unknown Expert. You're going to be an expert in a particular category, but you're not going to know what it is.
Okay.
I'm going to be prying you with questions about it, and you're going to try and figure it out.
Oh, I love it. So it's like it's almost like guessing a word, but it's like a whole topic.
Yeah, it's a whole topic. Okay. So your game show training.
Yeah, and in the process, I'm explaining this thing I don't know a lot about.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. So I'm going to act as both host and a question asker.
Your multiple personalities are back.
I am. Yes, I'm back.
But where are your glasses? Do you have them?
They're in the car, unfortunately.
Darn it.
They're not here.
Okay.
They're not with us.
I might get confused then.
Okay.
I'll do my best.
I will also do my best. All right. Welcome back to Ask the Expert. We're joined by a very special guest today. We're joined by Dr. Least, as in Leased, not to be confused with the other word, least, because this doctor is far from it. Dr. Least, thank you so much for coming on the show. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing well. Thank you, George. You can just call me Laura.
All right, Laura. Laura or Laura? I apologize.
Oh, thank you. Laura is fine.
Laura. All right. Well, thank you for coming on, Laura. We've got, I've gotten tons of submissions on Twitter for questions for you because, of course, your field is such a fascinating one. And, people are dying to know. And I, George, representing the people of the internet, am here to ask you tonight just to learn more. So tell me, have you always been interested in digging?
Oh, 100%. I like digging into people's lives. I like digging into the dirt to help me learn about people's lives. I am just a very curious person, and I don't turn away until I get answers.
Wow. Yes. You're so persistent. I mean, that's an important part of the profession, I imagine, of designing these things. So with your digging, do you like to make maybe just like deep circles, or do you do like different shapes, maybe more like a figure 8 or, things like that?
I mean, I have been inspired by the crop circles of the late 80s and early 90s. That was such a mystery that I really enjoyed. My most complex dig was a full, the top was cut off, so it wasn't full, but a dodecahedron.
Wow. A dodecahedron, folks.
Yes, a 12-sided 3-dimensional figure for those at home who are not familiar with that shape.
Thank you.
But yes, so
I wasn't familiar with that shape.
You're so welcome. Geometry is a wonderful part of this profession, and yes, so I look to crop circles. I look to figure skaters and the etchings that they make on the ice to help to create these shapes in the earth.
Amazing. I love how you draw on so many sources of inspiration for your work. I mean, looking outside your own field and pulling from other places is part of what makes your designs truly stand out. Now, a Twitter user was wondering, this is all they wrote. I'm going to read it verbatim. They said, heated or unheated?
Oh, that is a very interesting question, and it depends. But recently, in the past few weeks, 100% heated.
Heated.
I do enjoy a good ice bath in the backyard pool once in a while, but preferably swimming in a warm, heated pool that I have designed as a swimming pool designer and digger has been my preference.
Blackout. Wow. That was a big leap because I feel like I said digging and I was like, I made this harder.
Good
Oh my
job.
gosh,
No, that was good. Well, no, I was like, well, what's it? I was like heated and digging and no, you got me there.
All right. I was impressed. I was like, I don't know if this will help or hurt.
Yeah, that was
And
good.
then-
That was good. I mean, a dodecahedron pool would be kind of cool if you think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to see some of these pools.
Yeah.
So we got to get someone on this.
Yeah.
You're a pool expert. So there you go.
There we go.
Amazing. All right, Ann. We got one more game we're going to be playing tonight. This one, dust off those accents, dust off those voices. For this game is called 1940s Radio Hour.
Oh.
And what you and I are going to do, we're just going to improvise for a little bit of a 1940s radio show. Whatever elements that may entail. It could be commercials,
It
sound
sounds like it
effects.
entails that moment from Annie. IODENB.
Oh, yeah.
IODENB.
I mean,
I'm just saying.
that's basically it. That's what we're going to be doing. Yeah. What am I going to give us?
I'm just realizing it's IODENT, iodent. I said it wrong, but it's okay.
I don't remember.
Failure's
quite
okay
exactly.
here.
It is okay here.
Yeah.
We've seen that.
It's fine.
Yeah. We've seen a few
I mean, I was
examples of that.
redheaded and 2 when the movie came out, and my name is Anne, and my family called me Annie. So I should have known, but it's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay. We're whispering again.
It's okay.
Okay.
It's okay. Absolutely okay. So we're going to play 1940s Radio Hour. I think, do you feel like we need anything? I feel like we could just go. Just kind of see what happens.
We can try.
Yeah. See what happens. Maybe I'll give us
Can we get a town? Can we get a town?
a town. That's a
Yeah.
good idea. Yeah. Let's ground us. We're going to be in,
Should we homage your mom? Should we do Wisconsin?
we should do somewhere in Wisconsin.
Kenosha, Wisconsin.
Oh, let's do Kenosha, Wisconsin there,
Okay.
eh? All right. That's a bit Canadian, I guess.
It's all right.
I think we'll find something there.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go.
Okay.
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 Oh, welcome back to the Cheesehead Hour. That was some Glenn Miller Orchestra you just heard there.
Oh, I do love me some Glenn.
Oh, I do as well.
I'm in the mood.
Oh, I'm going to put in the mood.
And then you know what it makes me scream? Yep. And you know what makes me want to scream?
Oh, what do you want to scream?
Pennsylvania 65000.
Woo.
Do-do-do, 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 do-do-do. Pennsylvania 65000.
Oh, I just love that song.
It's so good.
That Glenn Miller, I hear they're coming through town soon. You go see them on their national tour of the U.S. of
They're
A.
going to be at the Kenosha Convention Center.
I love the Kenosha Convention
It's such
Center.
a great spot. The acoustics in that gym are just better than anything I've ever heard.
Well, they absolutely are.
So good.
Way better than the acoustics at my old high school gym, old Kenosha High, where I played the triangle in the marching band.
Did you really? I don't think I knew that.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, you must have been amazing.
I was the only triangle player in Kenosha marching band school history.
History. I
History.
bet you. I never heard of that before.
I'm sort of a pioneer.
Yeah, that's amazing. So, I was at the library in Kenosha, Wisconsin the other day.
yeah.
Yeah, and the ladies, they're... I just needed to shake that out a second.
I know we've both been fighting a bug there. Or two.
Yeah, that's right. It's
trying to-
I've heard it's from the. It came in from the East Coast.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Kenosha.
You gotta be careful.
Yeah, you really do.
Wear your scarves and your mittens and your the ones.
Put that mentholatum on.
The mentholatum.
Mentholatum.
Right on your sternum.
Yeah, exactly.
That part.
Yeah. What is that
Your
part?
upper lip.
Well, we could just be transplants at this point because
that's true. We got the transatlantic accent.
I think I'm getting it. I think I'm coming down with something.
Well, we need to take a quick break. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. Bum. Bum.
IODENT. Iodent. Take Iodent so your teeth are bright and shiny.
So,
Iodent.
One day you'll wake up and say, where my teeth went. Iodent. IODENT. Iodent.
I went a little soprano on that one.
Oh, we're back after a quick word from our sponsors, eh? Thank you to Iodent for sending us over that copy,
Yeah, that was such a good moment for us,
A great moment there.
So great.
Now, Verna, could you read some of the local news headlines we got going on here in Kenosha?
I would love to. Yes, Kenosha is having some big events. So apparently, the Jelly Belly Corporation is moving in here, and they're going to have a factory in Kenosha.
Oh.
So we are going to have all the flavors of Jelly Bellies.
Oh, there's going to be so many great flavors.
So many great flavors of... so many great flavors of Jelly Bellies. There's going to be buttered popcorn.
Oh.
A jelly bean that tastes like popcorn.
Oh, that's got to be crazy. They're going to put big popcorn out of business.
I think so. What will Popcorns R Us even do in town on Main Street?
You watch your back, Orville Redenbacher.
Yeah, Orville's really going to have to watch it. So they're going to be moving in on September 18th is when the groundbreaking will be. And the mayor's going to attend the ribbon cutting. And all are invited. Your alma mater, the Kenosha High School Marching Band is good. And I'm not sure if they're going to have a triangle player.
Oh, I hope not.
Yes. And then, Old McDowell's Farm over on US 23.
Oh, just a kitty corner away from our studio.
Yeah, they had some troubles with the cows got out again.
Oh, no.
And they had some troubles.
Those cows are always getting out.
Poor
old Farmer McDonald.
McDowell. Yeah, it's okay. You're not looking at the copy. It's okay.
No.
So so it's a problem with with the.
Oh, what's the problem with there?
It's a problem with the cows that just always get. I think it's their udders. Maybe they're too full.
Oh, that sounds like an utter disaster there.
Oh, I saw what you did there. That was funny. So that's all we got. The Jelly Belly factory and the cows.
Big week there in Kenosha.
It's true. And I just Kenosha. The news is brought to you by the Brat Stop on US 33, where you can get sausage for 22 cents.
I love the Brat Stop. God bless the Brat Stop. I stop there after every day in the studio with my family. Yeah, what's your...
I think our radio station just moved. It's great. I feel like we need a redo.
No, it's perfect. We stumbled through.
Oh my gosh, I couldn't stop talking like this. I don't know what my problem was.
I started going that way too.
I know. You brought us, but you kept us centered. But we could have just both come down with the ailment. It could have just been. Yeah.
There's a great sickness going around.
Yeah. Right. Because right. The Minnesota,
Yeah.
Or the Canadian is like,
Yeah.
they're not that far apart. So it's a little bit complicated.
Regionally, they're neighbors.
Well, I mean, above a certain pale level, maybe. Yeah. Whoops. Sorry to the people of Wisconsin, as Matt would say, for our terrible accents. He did better than I did. Apparently,
Sorry.
I needed to be from.
Sorry, ma'am.
Yeah, we did not honor your mother well. No. Apologies to her as well.
I know.
But I did actually on the Facebook road trip. I broke down in Kenosha, Wisconsin.
Whoa.
Which is why I have a fond place in my heart for Kenosha, Wisconsin. And my friend picked me up at the Brat Stop.
Oh, the brat stop. Yeah. Did you eat at the brat stop?
I did. Oh. I did. Yep.
I like brats.
I know. Well, I'm German, so I'm genetically predisposed to. Yeah, see.
Because my mom, Wisconsin, brats.
There you go.
Yeah,
you got some brats and some cheese and
killer.
Yeah, pretzels too.
Oh no. I love pretzels.
Oh well.
Pretzels.
Yeah, which we start with pretzels, cinnamon rolls, all the gooey carbs.
Yep,
good stuff. Yeah,
savory and sweet.
Yes. Well. Now I know what accent to work on next.
Yeah, I mean, we got a region.
I think I got the East Coast down now.
Yeah.
We've hurdled that, and now.
Yeah. I'll focus on that as well.
Yeah. Dialect coach. If I find a good YouTube video, I'll text it to you. Yeah. Okay. Go team.
All right, Ann. Before we conclude tonight's episode, are there any final words you want to leave us with?
Be nice to janitors and secretaries.
That's rules for life.
Yeah.
Sorry. I don't know if you were done.
Yeah, I mean, but I think I've said a lot, I feel like. And we've explored parts of my memory that I had forgotten and talked a lot about St. Louis and my nerdiness and my age and my apparently artistic career that I didn't even know I had.
Yeah.
So
it's been there the whole time.
It's been a journey of self-discovery all in one short evening. So thank you.
Thank you. All right. So thank you to Ann with the funny last name for coming on this week's episode of Improv for the Podcast. As always, we'll be back next week with another episode. But until then, we'll see you next time. Improv for the Podcast was created by Matt Moore and Michael Lee Evans. Edited and produced by Michael Lee Evans. And finally, presented by Improv for the People. Interested in more IFTP? You can visit us at improvforthepeople.com or on our socials, such as Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube. Remember, new episodes are released weekly. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time.